Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got a lot to get to. Brett, we have, even though we're bowl season, we've got news for college football for next season. The opponents for the Memphis Tigers and the rest of the AAC came out today. We're also getting the schedule reveal for the SEC tonight, a 2-hour special on ESPN to release the SEC schedule for this season. Some big college basketball news coming out today. Grizzlies in action, a lot to get to. But like I said, Bryant, Brett, and Johnny with you today. How you doing this afternoon, Brett?
I'm doing well, Brian, and playing the villain tonight, playing
That's right.
DB tonight in Houston. He's already gotten us, once this year,
Yeah.
and I swear I hadn't coughed all day. And now I start. I can't stop. But
Oh, man.
But in Houston tonight, try to get a chance to get some revenge against him, and we will talk the Rockets and Grizzlies
Yeah.
at 3:30 when we talk a lot of different subject matters with Chris Gordy down in Houston.
Yeah, we will. I mean, so we got a lot to get to today. And, Brad, I do want to start with the opponents for the Tigers and I guess the rest of the SEC. We can look around the conference, AAC, I should say, not SEC. We'll get that tonight. But
And we know the non-conference and the dates for them.
Right, absolutely. So before the American, it was announced today that their opponents for this season and for the Tigers this year, it was some really good games at home and kind of easier on the road, and that's kind of flipped this season. For the Tigers, their 4 home games this year: UAB, Charlotte, North Texas, and Rice. We don't have dates yet, just opponents coming out today. And then on the road,
Read those again. I'm sorry.
home is going to be UAB, Charlotte, North Texas, and Rice.
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 Oh,
We get our
no.
buddies Rice again. It's always Rice, isn't it? But
Feels like it.
It feels like it. And then on the road, you'll get Navy, USF, and then what could be pretty big games against UTSA and Tulane on the road.
Yeah, I already knew that on Saturday, August 31st, home opener, 2024 lid lifter will be against North Alabama. That will be at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The following week, Saturday, September 7th, against Troy.
Yeah.
We'll wait to see who Troy hires to replace John Summerall. And I think that's advantage to the Tigers
Sure.
with them in a coaching change, especially week 2.
Yeah.
And then week 3, get to see our old buddy Mike Norvell down
That's right.
at Doak Campbell Stadium
That's right.
with the Seminoles, and I think they're going to stay mad forever. And then Saturday, September 28th. I don't know about Saturday, September 21st. I would imagine one of those conference games will slide in there.
Probably.
One of these dates of the opponents that were announced today when it's the full schedule release, and I think the AAC announced the full schedule release in February today.
Yes, I believe so.
I would imagine that will be a conference game
think
Saturday,
so.
September 21st, and
Probably,
then
yeah.
back at a conference Saturday, September 28th against Middle Tennessee, and they'll be breaking in a new coach.
Yeah, no, they will, and so it's an interesting.
Derek Mason.
Yeah, Derek Mason, which will be fun to see, and MTSU, another team in the state of Tennessee, so that would be fun. But for this home slate, I mean, Brett, I saw Charlotte on the home schedule, and I'll be honest, that probably doesn't excite a lot of people. Gets me fired up, Brett. I don't know what I need to do. I need field passes that day. I mean, I need something that day when Charlotte comes to Memphis. I've got to see my guy Biff.
I think you can get all that done that day. You might be able to have a whole side of a stadium. It's going to be shut down
That's
next
right.
year. This will be a challenge to
will
sell
be. No,
season
it will
tickets
be.
for.
Yeah.
The challenge will be that I think what they have to try to do is sell. You got to buy to go see Memphis.
Yo, yeah.
Because next year is go for a year with Seth Hennigan and the returning starters. I know the portal has not been kind the last few days, but against this schedule, except for Florida State, we're not talking murderer's row at all here.
No, we're not, and maybe that's a great thing that you are bringing back your, will be his fourth year starting quarterback. You're bringing back some weapons around. Blake Watson, should be coming back. Rock Taylor sounds like he's coming back. So you're bringing back a lot of weapons offensively. We'll see what they can bring in defensively, but. You're definitely going to have to sell, hey, we've got to be all in on the Memphis Tigers. And Brett, what might be a good thing for next year is the start and the opportunity of the 12-team playoff. And maybe you can use that as a marketing project. Yes, you can use that as a marketing department to say, look, we have to pack out every single game to give the best environment for this Tiger team so they can go undefeated at home. Because if you go undefeated, if you win all your conference games, if you have a great season, you could be playing in the college football playoffs.
Brian, it's really kind of come full circle for me in my lifetime, and I think it's part of the weariness / doting so excessively on how many people were there. What was the scan count? What was the ticket sold count? For everything we do in town, and the full circle aspect of it, the chase now for the Tigers to land in a better conference feels hauntingly like the chase for the NFL through most of the 70s. And always, you got to buy tickets this time.
Sure.
We got to go to this preseason game on the 28th of July between Atlanta and Tampa Bay.
Right.
I don't think that was one, but Atlanta was here a lot. It really was. Atlanta and who did I see? Because Gerald Tinker had played at Memphis State, was back with Atlanta, and I wanted to go see him play because it was one of the phenomenal athletes of all time, just to watch him run. He was kick returner for the Falcons. But anyway, it was always, this is the one. This is if we pack the stadium this time, and then when the stadium was increased from around 52,000 to around 67,000 even. The Tigers and Ole Miss played that Saturday night, and then that Sunday afternoon was the Chiefs and the Cardinals. They played, and we got to sell it out. If we sell it out, this is when we're going to get a team. And they were toying with us. They would always pull the floor out from under us. Now, one of the pitches I think for Laird Veach and the marketing department and football is they've got to appeal to that.
Yeah.
And people are growing weary of it.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are, and I think I saw a story on the Commercial Appeal. I'm not positive who wrote the story, but that the Big 12 was paying attention to Memphis and what they were doing with all of the stadium renovation and kind of keeping an eye for if and when they choose to expand again. So, I think it's always going to be there, and I think, that's part of it. And obviously, a lot better than I do about kind of what went on here in Memphis back in the 70s when, there was, I guess, that chance, that glimmer of hope that the NFL could come to Memphis. But you're right. It just is a weird situation, and it just seems like every single year you're kind of back in that we've got to do this, we got to do that. If we do this, that, and that, then they're going to come calling, and they're going to finally take us.
And now after a long time, countless man hours, millions of dollars, and really just laying ourselves threadbare at the feet of the NFL.
Yeah.
They were never coming.
Right. Yeah, they were never coming and decide to play a year here and even get people's excitement up again when they were going to Nashville. And
that was even kind of more abuse we took.
Yes.
It was the battered spouse syndrome, and we kept going back for more, and I'm feeling and seeing a lot of this, but then I can say, honestly, you can't get tired now. You got to redouble your efforts. This is really the time that you need to buy a season ticket if you can afford it, and if you're a sports fan and you love the hometown team, because you can't take a chance on not doing enough to get left out of the club.
Yeah, well, and I think, it's kind of that thing of, you feel like you're right there. You feel like you're right outside and just, one more step and you're in the club. But, it's hard for, people older than me to think back to the Titans days. But even me, it seems like every time conference realignment is brought up, I get the feeling of this is going to be exactly what happened with the Big East. And, you do enough and you feel like you got there, and then the whole conference collapses, and it's not even, looks anything like what it did when Memphis was first joining it. And so, it's very, very weird, and we've been playing this game for how long now? I mean, 3 or 4 years, this kind of dance with the Big 12.
We even had a Jerry Lewis telethon type fundraiser rally one time at the Coliseum, and it was carried live by Channel 5.
Okay.
And I see they're celebrating their 75 year. I think yesterday was exactly 75 years.
That's awesome.
On the air for Channel 5. And it was carried live by them and their big on-air personality. A lot of people will remember the name, Dick Hawley. He was master of ceremony, and it was a season ticket-a-thon, almost telethon.
I like it.
And had a tote board, and we're at 19,000. And like if you called in, they'd run your name at the bottom of the screen, and we did for 4 tickets. Tommy and Pat and Brett and Tommy Norsworthy 4 in Widener, Arkansas. That's 4 more, and then it'd show the tote board going up, and we're at 35,000, and the goal was 40,000.
Yeah.
And then the confetti gun. Well, we made it to 40,000, and which was ironic that we got to the target of 40,000. Right as the broadcast window was going off at 10 o'clock, right before Saturday night, Channel 5.
And everything.
Yeah.
I love that.
And now we can go to the studios at 1960 Union for the 10 o'clock news. It was just so ironic that we hit the 40,000 coinciding with that.
I love that.
We did all that, and I was convinced we were getting a team when Tampa and Seattle got teams. We weren't even close. And then what the Earsays did to us, and then the final straw of Charlotte and Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it was good. Those years were kind of torturous, and believe me, my father tells me about it all the time, and it's what kind of started his despise for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, he does not like the Tennessee Titans, and that's a big reason why.
And that year, the term, a lot of the cool kids use now, dunking on you. They really did come in and dunk on us.
They sure did.
I mean, and I was telling people from day one, Bud Adams, he's here for 2 years, guaranteed deal. There's no way I said, you think guarantees mean anything to Bud Adams? He's a billionaire West Texas oilman that just welched and left his hometown of his entire life at the altar with the Houston Oilers. You don't think he would mind breaking a financial agreement here in Memphis? You can't be that naive. And that's one thing that has gotten us in trouble a lot of years is kind of the groupthink naivete. Yeah. And so, of course, after just 7 home games, he ended the deal. We did play the 8th and final game against the Steelers, but he was saying, "See y'all when we see you. We're playing next year at Vandy. We're out of here, and we're not going to have the commitment for the second year."
Playing next year at Vandy, I love that.
Vandy couldn't sell beer on campus either.
Wow,
it was a big financial hit for them. Yeah, real big.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Brian, you want to see something amazing. And, used to, on these airwaves, people would say it, and I believed it, that you could sell the NFL in Springfield, Missouri.
Sure.
You could make the NFL work in El Dorado, Arkansas.
Right.
You can make the NFL work in Amory, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. That year for the Cincinnati Bengals, now they were really bad. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Oilers. You know what the box score count was? And you know how we can get fancy with with the box score count.
Oh yeah. I can't even. What was it? I'm scared.
17,000 and change.
You're kidding.
For an NFL
You're
game.
Kidding. Brett, you're pulling my leg. There's no way.
I promise you.
That's crazy.
I promise.
That is insane.
Opening day didn't have 30,000 for the Raiders.
Wow. That's
and I can't blame people that didn't go either. I can't.
No.
I couldn't then.
No, not at all.
But the old saw of the NFL would work in Pocatello, Idaho.
It's just
not if you're good and mad over 40 years of being being mistreated.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Speaking of football, and I'm about to set up the show. We'll get to top and not top story, but I did want to bring this up, and I'm curious, both of y'all. It was my first time seeing anything like it. I had to look it up to really understand what it was. Johnny, I'll start with you. Johnny, have you ever heard of six-man football?
No, I haven't.
Brett, have you ever heard of six-man football?
Not six-man. I've heard of seven-man.
This was six-man that I was watching today.
Okay.
I had to do some research.
Okay.
I was watching the Texas High School State Championship game, forgot what division, of six-man football. And
Well, that would be the smallest division.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't know they went that low.
Oh, yeah?
I know in Alaska they play 7 and 8 man.
Really?
And even in Arkansas, there's an 8-man classification.
Really? Wow. Yeah, so just six-man, you had 3 linemen, you had a quarterback, and you had 2, I would just call them athletes because they could really do anything. And
Total number of men on the team, 10?
I mean,
That's probably what it was. About 10.
it was about realistically maybe 15, 20 guys on the sidelines for both teams, I think.
I mean, it's barely enough to bust through the paper
Yeah.
of go team go,
Yeah.
beat whoever.
Oh,
That
it was
is true.
It was thrilling though. I mean, it was exhilarating stuff because I mean, it's so tight. The field is not as wide.
I would say
it's
getting the
not
man
as
on the
long.
outside is really key in six-man football.
Yes, a lot of running the ball. You don't pass the ball much in six-man
I would say the
football.
tall sweep would be a
Tall
really
sweep,
critical play.
Yeah, that would
and,
be.
And once if you can bust through that line, I mean, daylight. Because
Put it on the board.
everyone's
Give
on
him
the
6.
line.
Yeah.
The one play, I saw 2 plays. And the first one, quarterback gets it, turns around, flips it to his running back. The other athlete starts sprinting down the field, and he's going deep. He's throwing it, and it falls incomplete. Coming back the next play, there was a timeout called 4th and long. They run the exact same play to the other side. It works. They get a first down.
That's amazing.
I mean, it was
That's
great.
amazing.
I think there's
That's
another
amazing.
one later tonight that I'll be watching. I mean, six-man
I gotta
football.
tune in to that, Brian.
I'm locked into it. I don't know. I just learned about it today. It was like made during the Great Depression when teams couldn't field teams.
I didn't know Texas played down to that small.
I didn't either. But it was news to me. I saw somebody tweeting about it on Twitter. I was like, let me see if I can find this. And sure enough, I think it was on one of the Bally's channels today. And it was interesting to find something. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day at 3:30. Chris Gordy, the host of the Locked On SEC podcast, also on 790 Sports Radio in Houston. He's going to join us to talk a lot. We're going to talk a lot of SEC, but Brett, you mentioned it earlier. The Grizzlies in action tonight in Houston against the Rockets. So we got to talk a little bit about the Rockets, a good start to the season for them, and we'll see what Chris makes of this season, what he makes of Dylan Brooks, the newest part of that Rockets team. So we'll do that at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk a little bit more about the Grizzlies and the Rockets tonight. 4 o'clock, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, will join us to talk college football. A lot to get to with David. 4:30, we'll get to some early NFL, and Brett, it's bowl season. We got to talk about these bowl games on Saturday and get to some of the lines for the weekend. Maybe even touch on some of the games. We got a Monday afternoon game, I believe.
Sure do.
A Tuesday night game.
We'll pick Monday afternoon, Friday during First National Bank Friday football forecast.
Yeah.
But Saturday got Myrtle Beach, got Arnell Carrier's New Orleans Bowl. We've both been to that game.
Yes,
That's a
we
good
have.
game.
Sure is.
Got the avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl.
Okay, I like it.
Can't promise I'm going to get the commercial in for every game.
Oh, Brett, you got to get that corporate sponsor in.
Got the LA Bowl, got the Independence Bowl. We're almost drowned one time.
But yes, that is true. I mean, full slate.
Texas Tech in the game. I've been to an Independence Bowl with Texas Tech in the game.
Really?
That wasn't when I almost drowned, though.
Different time.
Air Force Ole Miss is when almost drowned sitting on row 35.
Multi-Independence Bowl visitor. I mean,
How about that for one life?
How
How about that for one life? Multi trips to Shreveport.
Didn't know.
And Shreveport wasn't fun then. It's got casinos and everything now.
It's a blast now, but no, it's getting to that time, and we got a full slate of games on Saturday after really no football outside of Army Navy last week. So we'll get to that.
How
at
about
4:30.
2 Motor City Bowls I've been to? Here's a special place in
Really?
heaven for somebody
man.
that has spent 2 Christmas nights in Detroit.
Oh man, you're right about that. You're
Ole
right
Miss
about that.
No, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. Ole Miss Marshall, I did Christmas night, and then Memphis Akron up and back same day, the day of the game, the 26th of December.
Still,
But
Two Motor City Bowls.
Two Motor City. One at Silverdome, one at Ford Field.
Wow, that's fun. How about that? Well, we got to get to a lot of these bowl games at 4:30, so that'll be a lot of fun. 4:45, big number of the day, and I feel like I got two pretty good big numbers today, two NBA big numbers today that I'm excited about. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney from CBB Central and Sports Illustrated. He's going to join us to talk college basketball. And a good day to talk college basketball. A lot of Tigers news that we'll have to talk to him about. But this story coming out of West Virginia that a judge has ruled a 14-day restraining order to let two second-year transfers that have been sitting out this year eligibility to play.
Everybody eligible.
Everybody's eligible now, and so everybody can play.
Brandon Murray at Ole Miss.
Right. Yes. So very interesting news coming out today in college basketball. We'll have to get Kevin's thoughts on all of that at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure's Christmas sale, it's on, and they've got excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Are you tired and sore from the shopping? Check out their huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. Surprise the kids with new game arcades, game tables, and play gyms. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy. And also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Family Leisure wants to wish your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime. Bryant, Brett, and our great producer, Johnny Hill, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. You can join us at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the 2023 models that remain, the very few that remain, and all the 24s that have taken over the showroom and the whole parking lot at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy 2024 from everyone at Lexus of Memphis to you and yours. Call them at 901-334-9673. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my top story of the day is what I just mentioned, what we're probably going to talk a lot about with Kevin Sweeney at 5 o'clock, this ruling from a West Virginia judge giving a restraining order to Raekwon Battle, who took the stand today. He talked a lot about why he decided to go to West Virginia. He's posted videos on Twitter, on all sorts of social media. West Virginia has been posting stuff to their social media accounts about why he deserves eligibility this season. He rewarded it. He said there's a 14-day restraining order where he can play, and from my knowledge, everyone that was there, everyone that was covering this closely, was saying that this was just for West Virginia, and just a very small part of West Virginia, in fact, but it kind of took over after that, and now the NCAA has come out and said that all players, second-year transfers, will be eligible, and so it's a very interesting twist as, we're 10, 11 games in for some teams into the season. We're getting ready to start conference play, and now the news that a lot of these rosters, a lot of these rotations could be changing as early as tonight for some of these teams. I know McNeese State, they're very excited. They're getting Will Wade back tonight. They had at least 2 or 3 players I saw that are second-year transfers. So, it still feels like people are kind of confused on what this means, what actually happened today in college basketball, and hopefully we can get some clarity on this entire thing at 5 o'clock when we talk to Kevin Sweeney. But it could be a massive day in college basketball because we could be seeing a whole, long list, longer than Santa's naughty and nice list of players that now I guess are eligible to play for their teams.
And a lot of compliance offices scared to give the real green light.
Yep.
Because if this got overruled, then the prospect of playing an ineligible player And boy, doesn't the NCAA love to set you up in some old
Yes, they do.
bogus 3-card Monte scam like that. And they would love to ensnare a lot of people in that. I can't wait till we have the complete, utter collapse of the NCAA. My top story, NFL knows what it's doing. All the open dates are done. Now this week, 16 games. Everybody plays Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. And every game, there's at least one team in all those games really involved in the playoff picture. I'm not talking any periphery stuff of if you stand on your right leg and the other team loses by 91 and 6 other teams tie, you'll be in the playoffs. No, it's direct linkage to the playoffs for at least one team. The closest thing to a throwaway game is 4-9 Washington in the last days of Ron Rivera as head coach at L.A. in the 6-7 Rams.
Yep.
But the Rams are currently the 8th seed. How throwaway is that? The intrigue abounds in the NFL heading into Week 15.
Not top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my not top story of the day is the Grizzlies are back in action tonight down in Houston. Another shot at Dillon Brooks. It didn't go very well the first time these two teams met in Houston, but they'll do it again tonight after we saw Taylor Jenkins really go all in on his team during a timeout, and it was very heated. There were a lot of videos that came out on social media of what looked like him ripping his team during a timeout. How will his team respond in the game following against their old teammate on the road? Can they pull out a win against this Houston team? And they're going to see this Houston team right back in Memphis Friday night for the first Dillon Brooks return game of the season. So, it's going to be interesting tonight. I'm curious to see. It looked like all was fun with Dillon Brooks early before the first game. He came out early. I think Jaron and some of the guys came out earlier, and they were all buddy, hanging out. But then, right when those pregame warm-ups started, Dillon Brooks locked in. He gave that stare I just can't. Made out of nowhere this season, where he just kind of stares into no man's land,
terrified.
trying to get locked in. Will we see that again tonight? What will these two teams look like? We'll see in just a couple of hours.
We will. My not top story, Grizzlies in Houston versus Dillon the Villain.
Yeah.
Every single villainous player through the years on opposing teams they've really been able to get to or have gotten to the Grizzlies.
Yep.
Think about it through the years. Chris Paul and the Clippers.
Yep.
He got right under our skin, didn't he?
Sure did.
I mean, just cut right quick. Steven Adams, our good buddy now.
Yeah.
But when he was in Oklahoma City, even Goofy Pat Bev with Minnesota, and now the goofiest reindeer of them all,
That's right.
DB, playing tonight for the Houston Rockets. They smoked the Grizzlies by 20 in the previous meeting. 5.5-point underdog the Grizzlies are tonight in Houston.
Whew. We'll see what happens. We'll talk more about that game a little bit later. We'll actually talk to Chris Gordy in our next segment a little bit about that game. So I'll do it for top and not top story. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk SEC. We'll talk about this game tonight with Chris Gordy.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get ready for big-time basketball at FedEx Forum this month. The Memphis Tigers host Power 5 opponents, Clemson December 16th for a whiteout, Virginia on the 19th for a blueout, and Vanderbilt on the 23rd for a holiday game. FedEx Forum will be rocking as the Tigers look to continue their great start to the season. Tickets start at just $20 for these big-time basketball matchups. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
All 650 acquisition fee. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios, and joining us now from Houston, he's the host of the Locked on the SEC podcast, also on Sports Talk 790 down in Houston. Chris Gordy joins us now. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. I know we want to talk a lot of SEC, but let's start with tonight's game down in Houston, the Rockets versus the Grizzlies. What do you expect to see tonight? The Rockets have been playing really well to start the season. What do you expect tonight at home? I think Brett said earlier they're about 5.5 point favorite. How do you think tonight's game goes?
Yeah, I expect the Rockets to win. That's all they do at home is win.
Right.
I mean, they take out the trash, and the Memphis starting to look a little bit like trash this year. I don't know what's going on with you guys over there. I know Ja's out, but man, the Marcus Smart trade, what's going on with that?
Man.
No, it's
come on, now, Chris. It's the holiday season. Don't go in too deep on us in the first 40 seconds.
No, it's crazy. I mean, this Rockets team, it's night and day from what they've been the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I say this with no disrespect. Steven Silas is one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet.
No doubt.
But he just was not cut out to coach. You know, it was like oil and water. It was just not a good situation with all these young guys. Ime Udoka has been a home run hire and then some.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see why so many people wanted this guy, and Rockets really lucked out in getting him. And it's amazing how quickly this team has turned around with just the additions of Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. And Brooks has brought that defensive bulldog mentality, and they're I think somebody said, yesterday there was a report that if they stay on this pace, it will be the biggest turnaround ever in NBA history from a team being as poorly as they were defensively last year to actually being a good defensive team this year. So it's been a lot of fun. But no, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, this is the game I think the Rockets need to win because they've won 10 in a row at home, and they finally won their first road game of the season last Friday in Denver. But they've struggled on the road for whatever reason. So they're about to go on a 3-game road trip after this. So they need to find a way to win this one.
And Chris, you're right. The Rockets really stumbled into being able to get Ime Udoka, almost the Lane Kiffin of the NBA. I mean, Ole Miss never gets Lane Kiffin or Chris Beard without some crazy circumstances around it. And the Rockets, they seized on it and they went out and got him. Did it go over well with the Rockets fans? How did it go over y'all's airwaves with him talk? You think you came on talking stuff? He was talking stuff to LeBron James last week.
Oh yeah, but people love that. I mean, they they want the guy that talks smack. I mean, we had a guy like that years ago, and Patrick Beverly, and obviously you guys had Dylan Brooks. I mean, when that guy is good and talking trash, you love him. I mean, look at Draymond. Before he used to throw punches, he used to just be a trash talker, and everybody loved that. At least Golden State loved it. So no, I mean he's been everything you want, and then some. They did an unveiling yesterday of the new practice facility that they're building. Tillman Fertitta is paying, I think, $70 million to build this facility that's basically going to be their home away from home. I mean, they will starting next summer, that's when they plan to open this thing. They're going to have all their practices and film sessions and everything at this new facility, and they'll basically only go over to Toyota Center for just the games. And I know some other NBA teams have kind of moved in that direction, but they're investing the money. Tillman, being the owner of the team, he invested the money that it took to pay Ime Udoka. They had to pay more than maybe they wanted to go get him, but those are the commitments you got to make to be relevant and attract free agents and all that sort of thing. And so, yeah, it's been the doldrums ever since James Harden left here in Houston, and it's been, you go to sports bars and people the last 2 years didn't even have Rockets games on. They didn't care. So it's fun that they're finally actually competitive this year, and hopefully they can stay above 500.
And it's always fun to talk to our friend Chris Gordy, who hosts Locked On the SEC. Proud LSU Tiger. So another LSU Heisman Trophy winner Saturday night with Jaden Daniels. And I have voted now for 5 Heisman trophies. My votes have been Burrow, Mac Jones, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels was the easiest vote I've ever cast, Chris.
Well, you're batting 1,000 there, right? I mean,
I missed on Mac. Devontae won.
Oh, you missed on Mac. Okay, all right. So you're still pretty good. No, it was a weird year because somebody was asking me about Jaden Daniels. They were like, "What was his Heisman moment?" Or what was his biggest win? Well, I mean, the biggest win was on the road at Missouri. We just didn't know it at the time that Missouri was going to be as good as they were. A couple of the runs in the Florida game where he just outran every defender from Florida made you go, okay, wow, that's one for the highlight reel. But it really was just an encapsulation of his entire season. And where we get lost in this social media age is, we just look at outcomes, right? Like, they lose 3 games, and everybody's, well, you lost 3 games, you can't win the Heisman. Well, no. LSU's having historically one of the worst defenses they've ever had. I mean, I thought it was the worst we ever saw a couple of years ago when they brought back Bo Pelini in 2020. But Matt House, I still don't understand how Matt House is still employed today. Brian Kelly is going to need a psychological exam if he keeps Matt House on his staff next year, because he was a terrible defense coordinator this year. And granted, they were missing some of their Jimmies and Joes out there, but it was historically bad. If LSU even had an average defense this year, they would be undefeated right now playing in the playoffs because of Jaden Daniels and how good this offense was. It stinks because it's tarnished a little bit because, they lost a couple of games along the way. But, let's not act like their offense wasn't scoring at will for, 3 quarters in Tuscaloosa before, Dallas Turner knocked them out of the game. In Oxford, they were going toe-to-toe with Ole Miss. They just couldn't get a stop to save their lives. The punters didn't even enter the field. And then the game week 1 against Florida State, they stalled out a couple drives in the red zone, because they were trying to do too much, but they were missing Logan Diggs, their starting running back in that game, and we saw what a difference maker he was down the stretch of the season. But point being, every week in and week out, Jaden Daniels brought his A game and showed up and showed out. And, again, you can't hold it against him that his defense was god-awful. Because if they were just even a little bit better and could get just get a stop here and there, we're talking about an undefeated LSU team right now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Well, there is one SEC team in the college football playoffs, and I think if you had asked a lot of people in, week 3, week 4, nobody would have thought Alabama would be in the college football playoffs. But after beating Georgia in the SEC championship game, they're there. What did you make of that performance by Alabama in that SEC championship game, dethroning Georgia?
Well, it was an incredible performance. It was one where, all the talk of Kirby as dethroned Saban and Georgia as the king of the SEC, it makes us all kind of go back to our notes and go, all right, well, are we sure we want to commit to that? Because, that Nick Saban guy, he still knows a thing or two about coaching. And we saw adjustments made at halftime. We saw, intensity played by their linebackers that we really hadn't seen played all year. It was just an all in all, great performance that Alabama had. And Georgia, for the first time, they got punched in the mouth and didn't know how to respond. I mean, I haven't seen that from Georgia all year. Now, we'll say, I got to interview Brock Bowers last week and asked him about it. He's not 100% healthy, right? I mean, he came back from that tightrope surgery, and he's a step slower. We saw that. They get the ball to him out in space, and he, normally Brock Bowers breaks away and beats everybody, and Bama caught him. Same thing with Ladd McConkey. He was playing through injury. I mean, the guy was like, he would catch a pass and then limp off the field. Now part of that is blamed to Kirby Smart. Look, I get these are your 2 best players, but if they're hurt, don't play them. You got Rara Thomas. You got Dominic Lovett. You got other dudes. Throw the ball to them. I just thought they became too reliant on, Bowers and Ladd McConkey, who were injured. And then, when Bama was stopping the run, which, again, nobody has stopped Georgia's run game all year, they didn't know how to respond. They didn't know what to do. And so, again, incredible coaching performance from Saban. And I just can't get a read on this Bama team. I mean, somebody said, they've gotten better all year long. Well, no, they didn't. At Auburn, they were not good. They needed the miracle of all miracles to pull that one out. So I saw them struggle against a pretty good Auburn defense. So I cannot get a good read on what team is going to show up against Michigan. I mean, we know the mantra is Saban, give him time to prepare, and he's going to show up, and his team's going to be ready to go. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how good this Michigan team is because they haven't been tested. Outside of Ohio State, they haven't played anybody. So, they could be really good, and they could beat Alabama, and I'll give them credit, till the end of the earth. But I have no idea what we're going to get in that game. And Vegas, by the way, doesn't know what we're going to get. I mean, they couldn't get a read on this Bama team. They had them as a 2-touchdown favorite at Auburn, and it took a miracle to even pull out the win. So, this is going to be a fascinating game. I'm really surprised that Michigan, they've opened as a favorite and kind of hung tough as a favorite around a point and a half. I'll be curious to see what it is by kickoff. But, again, if you told me Michigan came out and they run the football with Blake Corum and, Bama's defense is not playing great and the offense turns the ball over, I would believe it. And, I'd also believe an Alabama route and that, Jalen Milroe plays one of his best games of the year and Michigan gets ousted as a fraud because they didn't play anybody all year. So can't get a good read on it yet, but I'll dive deeper into the numbers when we get closer.
Chris, I bet you encounter the same thing. I get almost daily someone, hey, big announcement coming out of Tuscaloosa. Saban family powwow, Coach Saban weighing the pros and cons of going forward. It's almost like it's the end of the dynasty when it's on the field, but then when Alabama wins, it's Coach Saban getting ready to retire. And then I see him recruiting at Chattanooga Baylor and being treated like the President of the United States showing up on campus, and they're doing everything but playing Hail to the Chief to him.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, it's funny. I say all the time, I host the Locked On SEC podcast. We got one fan base that absolutely idolizes him and worships the ground that he walks on. And I got 13 other fan bases, soon to be 15 other fan bases, that will all throw a party the day that man announces his retirement. So, it's just funny. I mean, if you're a fan of Alabama, you enjoy it, you love it, you soak up all the years that he's there. But my God, I mean, we go back through the history. I mean, Les Miles would have had at least one more national championship, if not two more, if Saban had not come to the SEC. We're talking about, maybe Gus Malzahn has another championship in the pipe. Just the course of history,
Urban.
Maybe even Mark Stu or Mark Richt, maybe would have won a title at Georgia had Saban not been in the conference. It's just he's dominated, but he's been a thorn in the side of everybody else to the detriment of everybody else in the conference. I mean, it's funny. They win the SEC championship last week, guys, and they go, ho-hum, let's move on. I mean, there are programs in the SEC that would they would hang banners and celebrate an SEC championship that have never gotten there before. For Bama, it's just another trophy for the trophy case. Yeah, just throw it in there.
Yeah, move on next game.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know Peter Burns threw it out there a couple of weeks ago and said, what if? What if he does win, beats Michigan and then beats Texas or Washington and wins another championship? Would he take a step back and go, you know what? I can't do any better than what I've done. I've got the most titles ever. I'm already climbing up the all-time wins list. Maybe it's time to just call it a day. And I would say no, that wouldn't creep in his mind if it weren't for all this advent of NIL, transfer portal. There are so many headaches now for these coaches. I know the older coaches. Mac Brown has talked about it at North Carolina, and I'm sure Saban has probably talked about it behind closed doors. How much longer do you want to do this, where not only do you have to go out and recruit and sign an early signing day class and then come back around for the other signing day in February and lock up that class, but you got to every offseason re-recruit every single guy on your roster and talk them into, hey, need you to stick around and come back next year. That takes a toll. So, again, I know he's got an amazing staff of tons of people that take care of a lot of the day-to-day for him on that front, but I can easily see Saban go, look, one or two more rings, and let's call this thing a day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he could go out there and win it this year, that'd be a great way to wrap up an unbelievable legacy.
And if it were against Texas, that would be full circle from the first one in 2009 at the Rose Bowl Stadium to this one, and that would be in Houston, and I'm sure you'll be there, Chris, at the game. But it would be full circle from first national championship at Bama to last one against Texas if he stepped away.
Yeah, and it avenges their one loss on the season, right? So it makes the season that much
Checks
more
a lot
special.
of boxes.
And the whole Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, how good he's been against his former assistant. You know, he holds that edge over Kirby. 4-1 now against Kirby. You know, Sark is the only guy to break through and beat him. Well, he would send him backpacking going, well, I beat you when it mattered most. So, all that would be on the line. And by the way, guys, I did meet with somebody with the college football playoff crew here yesterday in Houston. They said, look, they can't really root for teams, but they just said if Texas and Alabama are the rematch in the championship, tickets will be going for 5 times the face value of what they're worth. So
you can charge.
Easy to know who they're rooting for over there.
And the hotel people could charge whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, if you guys want to rent my house out, I'll 3,000. We'll call it a day.
You got it.
Well, we'll have to do that. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Let's do
Thank
this again
you, Chris.
soon.
Yeah, anytime, guys. And, just go check out Locked On SEC. We got that interview up there with Brock Bowers from a couple days ago. Really tremendous young guy who saw today he's 4th in a mock draft overall in the NFL draft. Wow. So wish him the best of luck.
We will, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. Chris Gordy with us from down in Houston, Locked On the SEC, and also at 790 Sports Radio in Houston, and a great, great guest. And, Brian, you got to think the Texas people don't want to play Bama in a rematch.
No. As good as Michigan is, I think they would say, please, yes, we would love to play Michigan in the championship game.
And
win.
Bama wants Texas.
Oh yeah, easily.
Badly, I would say, but be careful what you wish for. The whole hard to beat a team twice. I don't think it is. Look at Washington over Oregon.
That's right. Yeah, we've seen it.
I mean, you have that confidence of knowing I did it once, and
I can do it again. Yeah.
And if it's Texas and Bama in Houston, even with the Bama popularity, that would be a decided Longhorn burn orange house. No doubt about it. Jim's Place Grill wishes everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. They've been doing this celebrating over 100 years at Jim's Place, whether downtown or now out east in Collierville at the railroad tracks. Celebrations, family time, lasting memories, those special occasions. They've been there all these years for us and with us, the Terrace family, with their touch for our community. Recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours, Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours, Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30. Perfect dinner hour Saturday night after the Tigers and Clemson. Head out to Jim's Place Grill for a holiday occasion and the good times. All the TVs in the bar area always on sports, and it feels so good, and it's a lot of fun. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, dedication to their diners. The Terrace family, they've created a memorable dining experience that you will always remember. The lunch menu, the staples like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, the salad dressings, all homemade. And then at dinner, the soups, the seafood, the calamari, and those steaks that they're famous for. Strips, ribeyes, fillets. Great bar area at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. Come and see and taste and feel the difference at Jim's Place Grill.
Well, let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about tonight's game between the Rockets and the Grizzlies.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Want to do something you can't do anywhere else? Join me in Sports 56 at Top Gun Memphis Thursday, 11 to 1, and shoot for free when you mention Sports 56. While you're there, buy the ultimate Christmas gift, the fully automatic machine gun package for only $89. That includes 3 different machine guns, ammo, range safety officer, and the shooting lane, man. All for just $89. See you Thursday at Top Gun Memphis, Witten Road, with machine gun package and Liberty Bowl ticket giveaways, TopGunMemphis.com. Try it, shoot it, buy it.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring Titleist SM9 wedges tuned for precise contact, lower flight, and higher spin. Now $30 off. From Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Don't miss the Edwin Watts Golf Shops holiday special. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Hey, it's Amanda, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is that they're so easy for the holidays. They're warm and flavorful. It's always a crowd pleaser. When I put down a nugget tray, everyone is happy.
Hey, this is Brian, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is the joy that it brings to me and everybody around me during the holidays. They're warm, juicy, and delicious.
Cater the holidays with Chick-fil-A today. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And we just got done talking to Chris Gordy. He's down in Houston, and the Grizzlies are in action tonight in Houston against the Rockets. And Brett, I knew that this Rockets team had been really good at home. I did not realize that their first road win of the season came on Friday. That was news to me that Chris said that. So they've been really, really good.
I don't know that I knew that either.
I didn't know it.
In fact, I know I didn't know it.
I didn't know. I knew they were really good at home. I've seen their home record. I knew it was really good. And that is going to be the issue for the Grizzlies tonight. This Grizzlies team has really struggled. I mean, you know, say whatever you want
People
about
are feasting
why.
on the Grizzlies.
They really are. And for a young team, Brett, this... When you look at, and it's so weird because I remember having conversations with not just one person, multiple people last year that would say, look at the Detroit Pistons and look at the Houston Rockets. The Detroit Pistons are not good. Neither team are good. But the Detroit Pistons, at least they're playing hard. They're playing defense. They're playing, they're trying out there. Houston's not doing that. Well, Houston makes a change, and look at what they're doing this year. They add veterans. I think that's the biggest thing is they added 2 veterans to this roster of young players, and they have played much better this season than anything they did last year. They're playing defense, and they look really good, and this is going to be a tough game for the Grizzlies tonight.
Remember, late in the year last year, I saw the Grizzlies against the Rockets, and the next day I was talking about, or the next show, it might have been Monday after a weekend, I was talking about the Houston and the young pieces offensively, and you made the point. Go, yeah, but what about on defense? I mean, on offense, they all wanted to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Well, they got some veteran presence. They got a great coach, and they've got some hope for the future. You mentioned the Pistons tonight. They play losers of 20 in a row. Tonight, the Spurs play losers of 17 in a row.
Wow.
We're working on 37 combined. That almost was my big number, but I got one better than that.
That's great. That would have been a great big number. I'm curious.
It's still going to be 37, but a different connotation.
Oh, wow. How about that?
How about that? How many times you get to work 37 in?
That's a very good point. Let's see.
Well, and I want to ask you something too, John, Brian. I'm sorry. Did I hear a commercial of John tomorrow at a remote with a machine gun?
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
I'll sleep great tonight then.
Yeah, a little peek behind the radio curtain. John went out to this place and had lunch there last week, and used the range just to get familiar with everything before his remote. And came back. Johnny was here when he came back because he came back right before the start of our show and was full on screaming in the hallway.
He was.
How much fun he had showing us pictures.
Yes,
that'll be fun tomorrow.
Telling us that people were challenging his shooting skills and that he had to show improve his aim. Yeah, it's gonna be. Look, I'm telling you, if Brett, we're gonna be at Sissy's Log Cabin on Friday, and I hope
no machine guns.
No machine guns. No, a lot of great jewelry. No machine guns, but I'm telling you, come to ours on Friday. But if you have time, lunchtime tomorrow, you got to get out and go see Johnny. Not this Johnny, the other Johnny.
Quite the contrast in remotes Thursday to Friday, isn't
it? Sure is. It sure is. And both of them are going to be great.
Fun
Brett.
fact, though, Brian. Fun fact, Brian. Did you remember what he said? He said people were thinking that he did was a part of the Marine or the Army.
People were thanking him for his service.
Yes, they were thanking him for his service.
Johnson, no.
Okay, I believed everything up to now.
Yeah. He came back and he said, I was shooting so well, somebody came up and asked what branch of the military
Yeah, he said that. I was there.
All right,
I was there.
All right.
Have you ever shot it? Have you ever shot a gun, Brian?
Yes, I have once.
No machine gun, though.
No machine gun, no. It was just a pistol.
Just shotgun for me.
Yeah.
I may have fired a rifle, too. No, I don't know if I've ever fired a rifle.
Yeah, I...
Just shotgun.
Shot a pistol, and...
I don't think I've ever shot a pistol.
Yeah, first time, and it was quickly taken out of my hands and said, yep, we're not doing that again. So
yeah, I don't trust myself. I don't know what I'm. But it's a lot of fun for a lot of people, and this is a good way to go and learn how to do it correctly
in a safe environment. That John was telling me about.
Both of my parents passed, and my brother and sister-in-law. Everybody went but me and passed a gun safety class.
That's awesome. Great.
And I think it is really smart for people that want to do that.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. John's going to be out on remote. I'm hoping we can find a quiet area for John to set up tomorrow. I mean, I feel like a place like that's probably pretty loud.
John can make the public library loud.
Yes,
so.
That's very true. That is very true. So he shouldn't have to worry about that. That will be fun tomorrow. Hopefully, Grizzlies Rockets is fun tonight. Down in Houston, we'll have to see tonight at 7 o'clock. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking more college football with David Cohn.
Do you have equipment taking up space in your shed or on your lot? What do you do if those pieces are really big? Ever wondered their value? Purple Wave Auction is an online auction company that sells used equipment. Thousands of items are up for bid right now at purplewave.com. Our transparent auction process makes it easy to sell that Kenworth semi you have sitting behind the barn. Or how about an upgrade to your New Holland Workmaster? Take a moment and check out purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction, straight, simple, sold.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5 Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Memphis, home of the blues, world-renowned barbecue, and award-winning craft beers. Now you can take a dive into these great libations with City Brew Tours Memphis. City Brew Tours Memphis offers a craft beer adventure with behind-the-scenes access to local breweries. See for yourself how craft beer is made, learn about different styles of beer, delve into beer history, and discover the secrets behind the Memphis brews. Best of all, with City Brew Tours, you will take your taste buds on a journey with beer tastings at each brewery stop, complemented by local snacks to munch on. City Brew Tours handles transportation to the breweries too. You drink, they drive. Looking for the perfect gift idea this holiday season? Treat your loved ones to an unforgettable experience. A local craft beer tour with City Brew Tours Memphis. Head over to citybrewtours.com/Memphis and brew up your craft beer adventure today.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition P Forte RE 699,094 MSRP 21,385 Sorrento PG 242,710 MSRP 33,010 Telluride RG 462 2822 MSRP 38,705 includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Trying to clean up the paperwork on this wreck on 40 westbound on the bridge as you head back towards West Memphis. It's already busy coming out of the Midtown area. Over here, arriving on the bridge here westbound. Again, headed back towards West Memphis, 240 west at Lamar, and Airways has been running slow from that earlier wreck as it's in its cleanup stages. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. College football talk as David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company with Jake Crane, joins Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan, a college quarterback at Michigan, a tall man that's on Twitter at David Adam Cohn. Here's David with Bryant and Brett.
David Cohn joins us now, the co-host of Crane and Company, to talk some college football. And David, a lot to get to today, but I'm curious, we didn't talk much last week about the transfer portal and a lot of really good quarterbacks in the transfer portal right now. Some have already made their decision on where they plan. I know Tyler Van Dyke was kind of the big story yesterday as he decided to leave Miami and go up to Wisconsin. Who are some of the biggest names, maybe quarterbacks, maybe other positions that you're really keeping an eye on during this transfer cycle?
Well, thanks again for having me, guys. When I hear that beautiful song, I know it must be Wednesday or Michigan scored. And since there's no football games today, it must be Wednesday. So I love to hear it. Notre Dame landing Riley Leonard is an incredible get in back-to-back cycles for them. And first of all, let's just say I know everyone who is rolling their eyes and frustrated at all this craziness of the transfer portal. I completely understand it. At some point, we've got to sign some sort of contract and, hold people to their commitments on some level at some point. But as long as this is the game, I don't envy a lot of these coaches who are in these situations. And to some extent, they're having to play the game on their side, too, and telling kids, hey, we don't want you here anymore, which I hate that side of it, too. So when you look at what Ryan Day and what's going on with the Buckeyes right now and Kyle McCord leaving there, that was one that just absolutely shocked me. I mean, this kid, loses one game on the road at Michigan to the number 3 team and throws for over 3,000 yards. I don't know exactly what's going on there with the mass exodus of players, but if it's true that he is going to sign with Nebraska and also they're going to get Dylan Raiola to flip his commitment from Georgia, I mean, I don't know. That is just unbelievable. They must be pouring all sorts of NIL money in, not only to get a quarterback of his caliber out of the portal, but then also to convince the 5-star number 2 player in the country to leave Georgia and sign with them, even though Kyle McCord's coming to Nebraska. That would be insane. So obviously we have to keep track of that. But with what I know now, that Notre Dame landing Riley Leonard now from Duke, and that's back-to-back cycles. They've gotten who I thought was one of the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal last year with Sam Hartman. We led our show today at Craning Company with this topic. I mean, what is the expectation for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame next year when you have, the best quarterback in the portal essentially in back-to-back years? You can't go 8-4 with Riley Leonard. I mean, you certainly can't go 7-5. I mean, is 9-3 acceptable next year after you've had a great quarterback? You have the best left tackle in the game this year in Joe Alt. Audric Estime was a 1,300-yard rusher with 18 TDs, and Marcus Freeman's a defensive-minded coach, and the defense was pretty solid. The schedule they open with Texas A&M, they're going to get Florida State. It's not quite as difficult as it was this year, but still, it's no slouch of a schedule. So that was a huge get for them, but now Marcus Freeman's going to have to go and deliver.
Mm-hmm. He will, and you mentioned, and the schedules all will be released tonight, and a lot of kick times will be released tonight on the SEC network. Not all, but some, and then even more in the springtime, and a bunch more. And I'm not talking just the September package like we normally get at Destin. We're going to have kick times for later in the year where people can really make some real plans on going to the games, and most people are opening still with softer opponents, but not Texas A&M. They will host Notre Dame at Kyle Field. And David, for Notre Dame, how many wins will it take for them to get in the playoffs? Because there's really not a spot for them in the playoffs. Group of Five's got better access to next year's 12-teamer than Notre Dame does.
Which is just, I mean, it's insane to say. Which look, join a conference, right? If you want to be able to partake in that automatic qualifier, especially since they've cozied up so closely to the ACC since COVID hit. It's like they're quasi ACC in football, and they play that schedule in basketball. So I don't really know. Obviously, all of this goes way, way back with Notre Dame and how the Big Ten didn't want them in the conference at one point. I mean, obviously, they're a Midwestern school. They belong in the Big Ten, but we'll save that for another day. I don't know. I mean, look, we're going to have to see how this 12-team playoff plays out, and it'll probably take us a couple of years to fully understand, how many wins is it going to take and what sort of scenarios keep different teams out. But, you'd like to think if a Notre Dame team goes 10-2, they're going to be right there in the mix, sort of like those 10-2 teams this year are right there in that 10, 11, 12, 13 bubble when you start to look at Ole Miss and Penn State and Missouri and those sorts of schools. Notre Dame's going to be right in there because of their brand and the draw that they have. And so hopefully that will continue. My biggest thing that, and I went off on this on today's show, is there's several things we have to do to fix the postseason of college football. Obviously we know about more objective metrics when it comes to identifying which teams get to participate in the postseason. No more of this committee and selecting and ranking and highest rank. Look, we need the automatic qualifiers for the conference champs, and those should be the 4 teams that get those buys. of course, if it stays at 12, I think we're going to be going to 16 teams, even after that first year of the television contract deal with the new playoff. But, we'll just deal with one thing at a time. And the second thing is, like, this month-long layoff. I mean, you're talking about a schedule release for next year. We haven't even finished this college football season. We have several weeks to go before the playoff even starts. It's a broken postseason. College football has the greatest regular season in sports because every single week matters. That regular season is undone by a broken postseason. You can't take 5 weeks off before we get into bowl season and playoffs. I understand the tradition and the history. I got to partake in a Rose Bowl and a Citrus Bowl, 2 highlights of my athletic career. But at some point, we wouldn't have this number of opt-outs with the bowl games if we just rolled right into the postseason. Like, kids don't want to take 5 weeks off as they're entering a new academic year and they're trying to prep for the NFL and all these different things to take into consideration. Hopefully, with that 12-team playoff, they'll schedule that first round right after the conference championships. Let's roll 4 straight weeks right into New Year's and be done with it and play the championship on a Saturday, not a Monday night.
Amen.
That'd be great. I would love that. Speaking of the 12-team playoffs starting next year, me and Brett were talking about this yesterday. Realistically, or maybe it was the day before, who cares? Realistically, starting next season, how many teams, top 25, top 30, top 40, how many teams come into the season next year and their fan base is saying, we have a real shot at making college football playoffs this year?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I mean, look, this was the most parity we had seen this year. That's why there's so much vitriol here with the college football playoff, because we actually get to argue about 4, 5, 6, and 7.
That's right.
Like, when you look at the Buckeyes just losing one game on the road to Michigan, and they weren't even in the conversation. Yeah. So I think it's fantastic for football. I mean, look, it depends on some of these fan bases think they're going to win the championship every single year. And look, I come from Statesboro, Georgia, man. Don't ever count out a Georgia Southern fan. They think they can go and make the playoffs, and that's what makes college football great. When that becomes undone, like, the sport is going to take a serious hit. Look, 4 spots for 133 FBS teams, that just hasn't cut it. And Brett, like, I'd love to get your opinion on this at some point, because you're a historian of college football. We didn't always need a national champion, right? Like, we had let the coaches and the media vote on that in the past.
Oh, everybody had a champion at one time.
Everybody had a champion, right? And then at some point, people got sick of it, got sick of the split champions or whatever, so we let a computer decide the championship game. Then an unbeaten 2004 Auburn team doesn't even get a shot at it, so we get a 4-team playoff with Larry Culpepper and the Dr. Pepper commercials. Maybe we need to bring Larry Culpepper back. And now, we'll go to 12. I don't know. I'd like to think most of these professional leagues, right, have around 30, 31, 32 teams, and then they get 10 to 12 playoff spots. And you think any team that makes the playoff could realistically have a shot in those professional leagues. That's a little different than college. But if we could get to that that 30 number, where 30, 35, maybe even 40 of those teams think they have a realistic shot to make a 12-team playoff, that would be fantastic for the sport. Look at what college basketball has, 60, 68 spots now with the play-in games and stuff like that. That's obviously, basketball is a completely different sport. But if we could get to that level of parity where there's 30, 40 teams that say, hey, we could put together the sort of team this year that could make a 12-team playoff, and they legitimately are fighting for it throughout the season, that would be great for the game. I just don't know if that's going to be possible with the group of 5 teams not having their own championship. That's my biggest thing. I'd love to see the group of 5 have their own championship. Like when I was growing up, Georgia Southern was competing for one AA title. That was awesome, right? Irk Russell, he would go up to Athens and play Georgia, and they'd get beat by 20 or 30, but they'd fight him hard. You come back home, you get ready for your one AA season. Irk Russell and Paul Johnson go win national championships. Yep. It was awesome. Now these group of 5 teams, and coaches are split on this, by the way. We have a lot of group of 5 coaches on our show. Some don't want their own championship. Some want to be able to compete for those couple spots, Brett, that you were talking about. Like, hey, we want the TV revenue that would come with the possibility of making a playoff, kind of like Cincinnati did the year before last. But I don't know. It just seems like if you allowed them to have their own championship, that would still be great television, and you'd cut the number of teams down to these Power 4 conferences, and we could have a legitimate conversation about a 12 to 16 team playoff.
David, did you grow up in Statesboro?
I did, yes, sir.
Well, you know for a fact then that in Statesboro, a small G God is Tracy Ham running the wishbone for Georgia Southern.
No doubt. And the real Adrian Peterson.
The other Adrian Peterson, that's right.
The
that's
initial
right.
Adrian Peterson.
That's right. He sure was a good back in what Irk Russell built. David, if we had the old way, of course, it's hard to make a real linear exact comparison because we were only playing 11 games. There wasn't the glut of conference championship games. I mean, even kind of modifying it, look what for everybody complaining, I know Florida State's plenty mad and sore, and I don't blame them. But this would be the year, no doubt, we would have a split champion because old way, we would have sent Michigan and Washington to the Rose Bowl. Old way, we would have sent Alabama to the Sugar Bowl. We would have sent Florida State to the Orange Bowl. We would have sent Texas to the Cotton Bowl. So we wouldn't have the games we have this year, the old way. We've come a long way. It's never going to be perfect, and we still got a long way to go.
No, I know, and I hope this is the adolescent growing pains of the sport, not the death of the sport, right? Wouldn't that be fantastic if college football was just really starting to get going? My bigger fear, and I hate to see all those traditions go away just in the name of, one, wanting a national champion, and two, the TV dollars for all the revenue that comes with the playoff. But it's only natural if you're going to have this sport, which is so great, and the thing we can't lose is the locality of it, right? The regional element of college football is what makes it so great. We don't want to just turn this thing into all the big city markets. That's what the NFL already has. The professional teams already have those big city markets, right? This sport is important for Statesboro and for
Smallville,
Ann Arbor, Michigan, and for Oxford, Mississippi. This is great. So, and I think that you see the money that flows through with NIL right now is keeping these pipelines open. We don't want to lose that just in the name of these big TV and big television contracts and big media markets and stuff like that. And hopefully we won't. But it is natural to say, hey, if this team over here in the South thinks they're the best at football, and this team out here in USC thinks they're the best, and Michigan up there thinks they're the best, then you know what? Let's have it out and in some sort of playoff and crown a legitimate national champion. And people wanted that, myself really included. And we've had to sort of deal with the growing pains of a 4-team playoff. And thankfully, this was the first year we really had to deal with a legitimate snub, right? And I think a 12-team playoff could be good for the sport, especially if it opens up that recruiting and it allows more parity in the sport. I mean, think about it. If Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss can now go to recruits and say, hey, we made the playoff last year. We were the 10 seed. We were the 11 seed. And guess what? You're the missing piece for us to be able to go and take that 10 seed and get up to the 5 seed, to the 4 seed, something like that. That's going to help make a team like Ole Miss or a team like Penn State or maybe even, say, Virginia Tech more competitive, where they've sort of been boxed out of that because all of the money is going to go to these bigger programs that are surefire 4-team playoff spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Talking to David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, and kind of the big news today in the transfer portal is Cam Ward. It sounds like he's down to a couple of options. He was on a visit with Miami last night. He was at a steakhouse. They brought out Rick Ross for that. Yeah, and it was crazy. And now he's got one set up for Florida State. When you look at those two teams, which looks like what he's leaning right now, where do you think he fits better?
I got a text message from a good buddy of mine who has the inside track on the Miami Hurricanes, and he said, hey, we're landing a quarterback out of the portal today. It'll either be Cam Ward by 3 p.m., 4 p.m., something like that, or it's going to be Will Howard was what they thought. And I don't know. I mean, I've been on with you guys here, so something could have broken here recently. But, those were the two quarterbacks I think they were after heavily. It sounds like, Cam Ward could probably be more of a legitimate national title contender or maybe even Heisman Trophy contender if he went with a program that's a little farther along right now, like the Florida State or even an Ohio State but it sounds like Miami, because of their need to win right now. I mean, Mario Cristobal has to put together in year 3 an ultra-competitive program that they're going to be able to offer a little bit more NIL money. Certainly, I saw those photos of Rick Ross coming out. And, I don't know. He's obviously a tremendous player. Watching him the first 4 weeks of the season with Washington State, it was amazing. They sort of fell off a cliff there. And, it's understandable that he would want to go to a program where he can maximize his value. I don't think he can go wrong with any 3 of those programs, really, Florida State, Miami, or even Ohio State, whatever direction they decide to go with now that Kyle McCord has moved on.
David, you played football at a extremely high level at Michigan. You played quarterback, so you know all about the quarterback sneak. It is a rough play on the quarterback. It's a lot of contact to the head and neck area. Do you think the Philly short yardage push play should be outlawed?
I think everything that has like a 98 or 99% success rate should be examined for sure. I know there were some, moans and groans when the NFL moved the extra point back, but it made sense, right? It makes sense, and it's more entertaining that happened at the NFL level when you have something that's 98 or 99%. The thing with the quarterback sneak is, even with some of these big quarterbacks and great quarterbacks, is it's not 98 or 99%. It only happens to be that in Philadelphia right now when you have one of the best centers who's ever played, right, in Jason Kelsey, and a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that squats 750 pounds or whatever he actually squats. I think that the fewer rules, the better, right? So I've never liked the idea that an offensive player couldn't push a quarterback or a fullback or someone into the end zone, right? The defensive players are getting to push on their side too. Here's one aspect of it, and I talk about this with Jake Crane, my co-host on Crane and Company, all the time because he's a defensive-minded guy. The issue with this, and the one reason that if they outlawed it, or at least the pushing aspect of it, I would be okay with, is the forward progress, right? The offensive players get to push and push and push and get all that forward progress before the whistle is blown. But if the defensive players do the same thing and they push and back you up 5 yards, well, the offense still gets the benefit of that forward progress, right? And forward progress isn't going anywhere, and it shouldn't.
Right.
So that's one of the things that makes it tough. It's just tough on defenders, and we've seen rule after rule after rule change benefit offenses. I know it's frustrating for those defensive guys, and as soon as you do figure out some sort of way to put everyone up and stop Jalen Hurts on a quarterback sneak, boom, here comes the end around from a wing tee, that they jet sweep and they got you that way. So it definitely deserves examination. But I also would be very careful about making these sort of wholesale rule changes just based off the success that one team is having, right? Like let's see if it happens consistently, season after season, and we'll see how long Jason Kelsey plays too. Maybe he'll just roll into a robot and be, the Jason Kelsey 3000 for another decade or something.
David, can you imagine it with who was the center at Bama for your father-in-law? Was it Sylvester Croom or Dwight Stevenson or both?
It was Sylvester Croom, and Sylvester Croom was the head coach at Mississippi State who offered me a scholarship when I was coming out. So Sylvester Croom and Shane Beamer, who was on his staff, offered me a scholarship at Mississippi State. Years later, when I marry Richard Todd's daughter, I find out that, wow, Sylvester Croom was Richard's center at Alabama.
Right.
I'm sure they ran a heck of a quarterback sneak. But you know what? When you talk about the build of these quarterbacks and what they can squat, and certainly Richard was a very mobile, strong guy, and he ran the quarterback sneak well. Who's still up to Jalen Hurts, who was the best at it ever, was Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was great at it even before you were allowed to push players. Tom Brady is as tall and scrawny as I am.
He could get leverage as well as anybody ever.
He should be on paper one of the worst at quarterback sneak. But Tom Brady was always one of the best. Again, it's about playing smart with your mind. That's why I'd be careful about wholesale rule changes, because other guys who you think are no doubt, like Dante Culpepper. Dante Culpepper's the guy you think who would be great at the quarterback sneak, and yet it was Tom Brady year after year after year. I know it's a little bit different now because the Philadelphia Eagles have developed this what I'm still going to call quarterback sneak, because that's what it is, despite whatever nickname they want to give it. But again, give defenses a chance to adapt to it before we make any rash decisions. And then if it just continues to be 99% over and over and over again, and especially once you examine that forward progress and say, hey, this is really just the defense has no chance here. If you're not going to allow them to have backward progress, then I think it's worth a conversation.
Yeah, well, as a Cowboy fan, I hope they outlaw it, because I'm tired of seeing it against.
Dak's another guy.
Boys.
Why couldn't Dak Prescott be one of the best in the league at it? Like, he has the build. They have a tremendous offensive line. They had one of the best offensive lines since he came into the league. Why isn't it 99% for the Cowboys right now?
Can you imagine Tebow in it with Pouncey in front of him blocking?
Man.
But again, what was stopping them from doing it?
That's a good point. That's fair.
The push behind that's new, right?
Yeah.
It's the push behind that makes it just lethal. Again,
I would say Aaron Hernandez, but that's almost a punchline.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Speaking of lethal.
Yeah,
I digress, David, badly. Great segment that I ruined in the last 15 seconds, David.
Well, I guess, they'll put
Good
a bow
stuff.
on it, Brett. Thank you.
David,
thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Can't wait to do it again next week.
Thanks, David.
You got it, man. David Cohn talking college football with us. And today's David's birthday. Happy birthday, David. I hope he was still on the line.
David, man.
And could hear me. And I will text him thank you and wish him a happy birthday. Again, also today at the NFL owners meeting, unanimously approved for Super Bowl 61 2027 back to Los Angeles. No shocker there.
Yeah.
Kroenke's going to be in the mix every 4 or 5 years with that stadium and the fun there. And Ed Werder reporting that the elimination of that play for the Eagles will not be adopted.
That's too bad. It's too bad. I hate that, because as a Cowboy fan, I can't stand it.
It works every time for them. But David makes a good point. If it's so easy, how come everybody's not doing it with the same success rate?
Yeah, because you got to think that after you saw all the success from it, every NFL team went out there in the summer and said, let's just try it. Let's just see what happens if we just run it. And then it clearly didn't work or something.
It didn't. What clearly works is heading to All-Star Chevrolet. First exit on Highway 78 into Mississippi. You turn at Kraft Goodman Road. You're there. It's the first exit. And if you're ready for a new Silverado All-Star, they have them for you. They have plenty. And they have financing down to 1.9 or up to $10,000 back in cash. Plus, make no payment for 90 days. That's well into 2024 before the first payments even due. Your good credit deserves all that. And you get it at All-Star, where you can find all those vehicles with the red tags on them, like the Equinox, the Tahoes, Trailblazers. Families just love the Traverse with the third row seating, so you can all do more together. Everybody make that holiday road trip off to a bowl game, wherever you want to go. Vacation, one more trip to Florida, you can do it in that. And what are you doing New Year's Eve? You need to be driving one of these vehicles. Military, teachers, college students, healthcare workers, you all get an instant extra $500 bonus back. If you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned, All-Star's loaded. If it's not on the lot, just ask Jeff. He'll find whatever you want. Kevin and Jeff and everyone at All-Star, Drew DePriest, the whole team, want me to wish everyone out there in our listening audience a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, happy 24, and thank you for all the great customers that they've had this year. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, let's get to a break. When we come back, we got to take an early look at some of the NFL lines for the weekend. Also, bowl season starts on Saturday. We got to take a look at those. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Give me liberty and give me real estate.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and that was Hugh Mallory. Not only does he work with me at Mark Spensdorf Realtors, he's the president of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So Hugh, instead of sounding like Patrick Henry, what do you mean?
Well, Sheldon, like you, I sell real estate. I'm also privileged to serve as president of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which will be held Friday, December 29th at 2:30. I'm able to handle all my clients, whether they're buying or selling, while participating in this great annual tradition.
Hugh, that is definitely quite an honor, and with your fabulous track record in real estate sales, I know you'll do a great job. Hugh will move you as something to remember, and you can reach Hugh Mallory at 497-9756. It's also why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. See you at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December 29th.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Schedule your holiday gift deliveries today at hogsfly.com.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 699,094, MSRP 21,385, Sorrento PG 242,710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462, 2822, MSRP 38,705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024, dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we get the weekend started off tomorrow night in the NFL with the Chargers and the Raiders. Brett, I remember to start the season, we had a lot of, uneventful, you could say, Thursday night football games, and that was kind of the joke of, it's a Thursday night football game. It's not going to be very good. And then we had some really good ones. You know, we had that stretch. I think we had Baltimore and Cincinnati. I think there was, Seahawks and Cowboys was really good a couple weeks ago. I think this week we could be getting back to some ugly football on Thursday night. Right now, the Raiders a 3-point favorite. The total sitting at 34.5. It could be a very low-scoring game.
Not quite Roger Bannister total yet, going under 30, the Bruce Marshall term, and he's right. These totals blow my mind. I mean, it looks like August 15th preseason games. Quarterback play could be very iffy tomorrow night. All right, maybe this one was a stretch way back in my top story of the day about the NFL and all the intrigue in the game. 2, 5, and 8 teams, but they're both still in it.
They are.
Yeah, now, the loser won't be tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
No.
They're out over the top rope.
Yeah, no, they're out, and I would probably say both these teams are out with the injury at quarterback to Herbert, and we know backup going in Vegas. Easton Stick gonna get the start tomorrow for the Chargers. Old Easton
Stick.
Oh man, give me everything you know about Easton Stick, Brett.
I got nothing.
No, I don't either.
No college?
No. North Dakota State, I know that.
Is that right?
That's right. It was drafted
right-handed, left-handed?
Couldn't tell you.
Run-pass option?
Couldn't tell you.
Don't know.
I know I had an Easton Stick growing up, an Easton hockey stick, but it's only Easton Stick I know.
Baseball bat?
Also baseball bat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had an Easton at some point. I can almost assure you I had an Easton baseball bat.
Okay, this game tomorrow night is kind of taking full artistic liberty with everybody involved, but for the winner, they can still cling to that hope.
Yeah. Sure. For another week, maybe.
Not very realistic.
No, it's not a lot of hope, but sure, you can still cling to it for the rest of the weekend.
Then Saturday, they kind of roll out the 12, 3, and 7 games, 12, 3:30, and 7:15 to be exact. I'm going to miss a lot of the afternoon action because I'm going to the Tigers versus Tigers Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, Memphis-Clemson's going to be a heck of a game. But, no, 3 really good games. Start the day with Vikings and Bengals. We know Nick Mullins is going to make the start for Minnesota. And we'll get Jake Browning again for Cincinnati. Right now, Bengals a 3-point favorite. That total sitting at 40.5. The 3:30 game, Steelers and Colts. Brett, just reading these team names and thinking about who is going to start at quarterback for all of these teams, I have to chuckle because we are seeing so many different quarterbacks this year. It's insane. I mean, I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 teams, 3 games, 6 teams right now, and none of them are playing their quarterback that started the season.
And you had the Ben Roethlisberger story today asking if the Steelers tradition, that he was saying that it might be done. We had Tom Brady just a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Neither Big Ben nor TB12 have been retired long enough to go full old man. Kids these days aren't doing it like we used to do it. They hadn't been out of the game long enough to start impeaching it.
Well, Brett, Tom Brady hadn't even been out of the league for a year yet.
No kidding. we all really thought he'd be playing again by now.
Not even a season. Forget a year, not even a season.
I think it's really bad form in anything to go, it's not like it used to be. And I'm always more optimistic about the future. I think the best chapter of sports is ahead of us in everything look, I've got my memories. I've got the things that I went to and I loved and I did and those things, but I don't know that it was any better. I know stadiums aren't. Mm-hmm. I know the fan experience not now. It is definitely more expensive now, but we thought it was expensive then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, man, I mean, it's...
But Roethlisberger, those comments, I thought that was bad for him.
Well, it's interesting because, like you said, I mean, and for Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady has retired, and hadn't been retired for long, hadn't even been a year yet, but he's remained in the public eye and has kind of stayed on, doing podcasts and coming on with people and talking about things. You've seen him in commercials. You've seen him doing things. Ben Roethlisberger, when's the last time you seen Big Ben? I mean, this was out of nowhere. That's what kind of shocked me today.
He comes off the top rope, kind of castigating the whole system. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. Man, used to in talk radio. No, it's just fine right now.
Yeah,
and Ben hasn't been retired that long. He just retired in 2021.
That's right, Johnny. He
really hadn't.
So he haven't been retired
so long.
It
seems like he retired a long time ago because of all of those injuries that kind of.
Well, he was finished a long time ago.
That's right. He was finished a long time ago.
But you're right. I mean, it really hadn't been that long since he left the league either. But he's been much more quiet than TB12.
One matchup this weekend out of 16 games. Okay. One matchup that has a past Super Bowl matchup in it. Can you name it?
I cannot.
It's your team.
Is it? I was going to say Cowboys and Bills, but I wasn't
sure.
Cowboys and Bills. I didn't want to be my mistake being a Super Bowl that the Cowboys
not once, but twice in Super Bowls. Is that right? Yeah.
Wow. Well, Brett, way before my time, I mean, it was, Cowboys haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl since I was born. Maybe I'm the bad luck, Johnny. Maybe I'm the reason.
Back in the halcyon days of Troy Aikman.
I don't think you the bad luck, bro.
I don't know. Maybe. But that's going to be a really fun game. And I'm really intrigued because Cowboys on the road, we know how good they've been this year at home, but on the road. And Brett, we just talked to Bo Marchant yesterday, and he comes in week after week saying, do not forget about this Buffalo Bills team. They could very well be in the Super Bowl at the end of the season. So right now, I'm seeing Bills a 2-point favorite, total sitting at 50.5 for a 3:30 game. That really could be the best game of the day.
That was the Bills' 4 losses. First one to the Giants narrowly, then back-to-back to Dallas and Pasadena and Atlanta, and then the fourth and last one to Mark Rypien and Washington up in Minneapolis. I think that was the way it went. And I know they met twice, and there was a stretch, the one in Atlanta, that Buffalo was kind of in control of that game.
Wow.
They were really never in control of the game out at the Rose Bowl Stadium. Saturday starts the bowl season.
Sure does. I can't wait.
I'll get to catch most of this one bright and early. Georgia Southern, we were just talking about with David Cohn against Ohio. Georgia Southern, 3.5-point favorite over the Bobcats.
Brett, a 10 a.m. start to your bowl season on Saturday, and perfect for you going to that basketball game. Oh, man. Brett, nothing I love more than early in the college basketball season when you wake up, usually like right before Feast Week starts, that weekend before, you wake up and you see these 9 a.m., 9:30, 8:30 tips of UAB and College of Charleston. I mean, it just makes me so happy every time I see it. It's good. And this is close.
6 bowls Saturday. I think the best is UCLA against Boise State in the L.A. Bowl.
Sure.
We're going to pick all of them Friday afternoon during Friday football forecast. And Johnny Hill makes his football picking debut. He's been in Tiger's bankroll in college basketball. Makes his college football picking debut Friday. You ready, Johnny?
Man, I'm fired up, Brett. I'm fired up. Looking forward to it, man.
And Brett, hopefully we'll also have a line out during our show Friday afternoon so we can get Johnny's debut of football picks and Tiger bankroll the same day. How about that?
It's going opposite direction, though, in bankroll.
Hey, man, it's not going too good right now. It's not going too good.
Tell me a better weekend than this weekend to bounce back, Johnny,
Yes, this is my week. This is
your
my
weekend.
week. I'm looking forward to it.
I know
this is the opportunity. New Mexico State and Fresno State in the New Mexico Bowl. Cal and Texas Tech late Saturday night in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. I would imagine tickets available.
Yeah, I would say probably a good amount of tickets available. Could be an interesting game, Brett.
Well, Texas Tech plays as hard in this one as they did in the Texas Bowl last year.
Brett, they were playing. It was the Texas Super Bowl yesterday for the last
Ole
year.
Miss apart.
Sure
that
did.
one.
It really did. Going back to the Boise State UCLA game, this one could be really interesting. I believe both starting quarterbacks in the transfer portal, Boise State's quarterback already committed to Arkansas. I believe yesterday that happened.
That's correct.
I believe UCLA's quarterback also in the transfer portal.
So they're playing, but they're getting out of town?
No, I don't think they're playing, but that's what I'm saying.
They're not playing.
We're going to see backups for both of these teams at the quarterback position. I think for Boise State, I think a lot of those weapons that we were talking about when they were coming to Memphis, those guys to keep an eye on, that receiver, quarterback, I think all of those guys are out because they've all jumped to the transfer portal.
Good point. I see. And, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different lot of different options and quarterback play and starters. I've said there will be people that play significant time in a bowl game that wouldn't play significant time in the spring game.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point, Brett, because I know the transfer portal moves so fast that like you want to jump into the transfer portal before any of these bowl games happen. But for some of these backups that are wanting to leave because of playing time, you might be better off playing in a bowl game, trying to show out in a bowl game, and then go immediately jump in the transfer portal. And maybe a team says, "Oh wow, look at that performance from that he had in the bowl game. Let's go pick him up." And so maybe some opportunities here. For some reserves that could be seeing some playing time in these bowl games. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the TaylorMade Stilt 2 Carbon Woods that combine speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness. Now up to $100 off. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm Georgios. I'm the co-founder of Nutrafol. My hair started to thin. I took a pharmaceutical drug, but I suffered from sexual dysfunction. Having to choose between my hair and my health was not really a great choice. Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. Keep growing at Nutrafol.com/men. That's Nutrafol.com/men.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Paid for by Nutraceutical Wellness, Inc.
Do you have equipment taking up space in your shed or on your lot? What do you do if those pieces are really big? Ever wondered their value? Purple Wave Auction is an online auction company that sells used equipment. Thousands of items are up for bid right now at purplewave.com. Our transparent auction process makes it easy to sell that Kenworth semi you have sitting behind the barn. Or how about an upgrade to your New Holland Workmaster? Take a moment and check out purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction, straight, simple, sold.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I have a lot of big numbers today. My first one is 5. Brett, look out for the Clippers. They've won 5 games in a row to start December, and a big part of that has been the play of Kawhi Leonard. In his last 3 games, he's 36 for 56. That's 65% from the field, scoring 106 points, a 41-point game, a 34-point game, and a 31-point game in part of that 5-game win streak.
Would you believe in the all-important loss column, the Clippers and the Lakers are tied?
That's incredible. I mean, that's unbelievable.
With Phoenix as well.
Oh, Brett, I have another big number that I wasn't even going to use for big number, but since you brought up the Lakers,
go ahead, Brian.
I am going to bring it up. My next big number, let me see if I can find it very quickly. Yes, right here. We'll call it 7.
Really?
Yeah, 7, my big number. This is real. I saw this on television last night after the Lakers lost to the Dallas Mavericks last night. The Lakers were a perfect 7-0 in in-season tournament play. All of the group stage games and the actual tournament when they were out in Vegas, they were undefeated, 7-0 outside of those games. In non-in-season tournament games, the Los Angeles Lakers are 7-10 on the season.
Fixed.
I mean,
Brett said
it. Something.
I knew the Lakers couldn't get up. You can't keep that enthusiasm. You can't keep that in-season tournament fire burning forever.
It's very true. You know, I mean, the in-season tournament only comes around once a year.
Every game's not a bowl game.
Well, when it's the in-season tournament, it's close, and that's why they play so hard. One more big number for me.
Go ahead.
And it is also 7. Dante Exum last night hit 7 3-pointers. That is a career high. He is a career 31% three-point shooter. In the last 2 seasons, he wasn't even in the NBA.
Yeah, that's a name you haven't heard in a long time.
It really isn't. He was playing in Spain and Serbia over the last 2 seasons. He comes back, gets signed by the Dallas Mavericks, and is shooting 41% from 3 this season, and over 67% over his last 3 games. And he has made 3 3-pointers in his last 5 games. So incredible stuff what Dante Exum is doing right now.
So we're going to have the full SEC schedule revealed tonight, and some kick times as well tonight, and even more coming in the spring. And for everybody, I think everybody's going to notice of the SEC persuasion, not 1 but 2 open dates next year for every team in the SEC. But Ole Miss fans tonight, when you see the schedule revealed for the first time in my big number 37, next year will be the first time that neither Ole Miss would neither play Alabama nor Auburn next year for the first time since 1987. Hadn't been a schedule since 1991 where Ole Miss didn't play Alabama. been since 1989, hadn't been on the schedule with Auburn, but 1987, 37 seasons ago, when neither are on the schedule, and I say good riddance.
It's a good big number.
Man, that's a really good big number,
really good
Brett.
big number.
Hey, Brett, do you have anything else, Brett, or is that all you got?
That's
as good as I can do.
Hey, Brett, hey, you still got it, Brett. Hey,
all right.
Hey, you still got it. Hey,
that's incredible.
But Brian, that was a really good number about Dante Exum, a name I haven't heard from in so long, man.
No, but Brett, that's incredible. We've talked.
No Bama, no Auburn for Ole
that
Miss
is
next year.
crazy.
Thank goodness.
I mean,
I know what they got.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I kind of know what Oklahoma can do. That they're kind of replacing one.
Sure.
But I know what Alabama and Auburn gives you every year.
Yeah, no, you're very familiar with that.
I also could go this number. We were talking bowl games in my trips to Shreveport. 54 years ago today, my first bowl game. Really? 1969 Liberty Bowl, Alabama and Colorado, December 13th.
Wow.
1969. Wow, that's a good number.
Really
so
good number.
Bear Bryant and Ralphie the Buffalo all in one fell swoop.
Was that Bears' last game?
No. Okay. Bears' last game was 82.
82. Okay.
That was Bears' first Memphis
Liberty
Bowl appearance, and he came back in 76 against UCLA, and then his final game in 1982 against Illinois and Coach Mike White.
Wow, that's good stuff, Brett.
54 years ago.
Wow.
And first trip to the rendezvous after the game.
Really?
What a day for 7-year-old Brett.
I mean, 7-year-old Brett's world
college football and a trip to the rendezvous. I mean life-changing.
I mean,
look what happened to me.
That's right. I mean, all of that started then. I mean, wow.
It really did.
That's incredible.
Quite a day. It was a lot of fun. Sunsplash. Wasn't a cloud in the sky, but typical Liberty Bowl. It was cold. But afternoon game.
Afternoon game. Wow. Johnny, we're learning a lot about Brett's bowl visits today. We learned he's been to 2 Motor City Bowls.
Yes.
What was
2
the other?
Shreveports.
2 Shreveports. Now we know his history of the Liberty Bowl. 7-year-old
amazing,
Brett going to a
Been
Liberty
to an
Bowl.
Armed Forces Bowl on the campus of Fort Worth on New Year's Eve morning.
That's amazing. I agree. Hey, that's very impressive.
And Johnny, quite a contrast in the two fan bases. On one side, Air Force,
Sure.
our proud military.
Thank you for your service.
On the other side, Cal.
Really?
And pregame, their band was not acting like our military acts.
I believe it.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Cal and Air Force. What a contrast.
2 style clashes for sure.
Yeah.
A big style
Next day, went to the Cotton Bowl between Mizzou and Arkansas, and Mizzou was still in the Big 12.
What? Yeah, I mean, that just seems crazy. But it is interesting. Missouri feels like, for a lot of people, it feels like Missouri just got to the SEC, and now Texas and Oklahoma, welcome. And
on the way.
We'll see what their schedules look like tonight. 2-hour show on ESPN for the schedule reveals.
Couldn't we kind of cut that down to about 20 minutes? I've got all the schedules. Mississippi State fans, if you're in there, you want to know your schedule here, I can give it to you right now. Opening day against Eastern Kentucky, then they go to Arizona State, Toledo at home, Florida at home, at Texas, open date at Georgia, home against A&M, home against Arkansas, home against UMass. At
UMass.
Tennessee,
Wow.
At Tennessee, open date for State, and then home against Mizzou, and then at Ole Miss.
Wow, there's a couple tough little stretches in there for Mississippi State. But hey, now Brett, you might have just saved.
Everybody feels the need to send me the schedules.
You didn't ask for them. You just
didn't.
They just sent them to you. But Brett, you might have just helped out a lot of Mississippi State fans. They don't have to sit through a 2-hour
book your hotels.
2-hour show tonight. Yeah, get ahead of the booking for sure. Well, we need to get to a break, but before we do that, I know a lot of people are looking. Look, I mean, we got so much action going on right now. Grizzlies in action tonight. College bowl season starting this weekend. College basketball, NFL. A lot to watch, and I know you're looking for a place to go out with your friends, go out with your family, and enjoy a game. I've got the spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, right behind 117 Prime. Open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday and 4 to 8 on Sunday. Look, I know nobody likes a loud bar where you can't hear yourself think, much less talk, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. Bell Tavern is not one of these loud, obnoxious sports bars. It's a sports bar That's not a sports bar. It's a bar you can go and enjoy a game at with all of their TVs, with friends, with family. Start your night with a gourmet burger and one of their great cocktails in a quiet, dimly lit bar that you can enjoy one of these games at. And it's not just the burgers. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis and the coldest beer in the city. You know 117 Prime, just walk through their dining room and you're at the best bar in town. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking college basketball with Kevin Sweeney.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we Gossett at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Be sure to schedule your delivery for the next game at hogsfly.com or come visit us in the alley.
Don't miss your Memphis Grizzlies this Friday when they host Dillon Brooks and the Houston Rockets on Ford Scholars Night. Arrive early. The first 5,000 receive Grizzlies holiday wrapping paper. Secure your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Right now, I'm looking at this wreck being cleared in the Midtown area. It's 40 eastbound at Chelsea. It is really slow. Now, 40 east and westbound over here at Chelsea in the Midtown area. Crazy slow there on 40 at Danny Thomas in both directions. This all started from a wreck we had earlier on 40 going westbound on the bridge, headed towards West Memphis. That's what jammed up all this traffic here in the Midtown area. It's also heavy now on 240 east from Mill Branch out to 385 Billmores Parkway. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some college basketball, Kevin Sweeney from CBB Central and Sports Illustrated joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at CBB_Central. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us, and perfect day to have you on because of the news that came out today in the college athletics world. A West Virginia judge granted a 14-day temporary restraining order. It was really for West Virginia's Raekwon Battle, who's been battling the NCAA really all season to try to get eligible for this year. But now it sounds like not only will this be for Raekwon Battle, but this will be for every two-time transfer in the country. What have you learned since this story came out earlier today?
Yeah, I mean, it's been chaos. I appreciate you guys having me as always. I think everyone around the sport trying to figure out what this means. So the big picture things. Number one is that the ruling is a 14-day temporary restraining order, which means that theoretically in 2 weeks this rule could change again on us. So anyone getting cleared today, which would be obviously Battle, but every two-time transfer currently sitting out, is theoretically eligible until December 27th, and then there will be another hearing on December 27th that will determine where things go moving forward. Now, there's a general feeling that it will side once again with the states that are suing and side with Battle and keep players eligible, at least through the remainder of the season while this is sorted out more formally in the courts. But we don't really know that for sure. And then from there, the question was, well, if these players play, do they lose a year of eligibility if they play for 2 weeks and then they're not cleared once again? Do teams have to vacate wins? All of that. So we're just getting that clarity now. It sounds like there will be no issues with eligibility if 2 weeks have to go by and these kids are back to the bench. This will not count. It will all be kind of washed away from the eligibility standpoint. It won't impact records and things like that. Games that players play in now will count normally. But everyone is really scrambling, trying to figure out exactly what everything means before kids play.
Kevin, do you trust the NCAA? I don't, because I know here they once told someone that a clearinghouse, a player here, Derrick Rose, went through the NCAA clearinghouse for eligibility, good to go on SAT test, and then they said it wasn't. Also, no infractions here, but that were most benign for Ole Miss. I'm scared to death somebody's going to walk into a booby trap with them.
It's very messy. I think the only thing that protects the players in this case is that, quite frankly, the NCAA keeps losing in court. I mean, if they were to punish a player under this, if they play 2 games, they get told that you're ineligible, and now your year is gone, there will be another lawsuit, and the NCAA probably won't win that lawsuit. So I think at some point the NCAA is going to put the shovel down and stop digging themselves a bigger hole. They're going to fight for this rule because I think people in the NCAA view it as very important that they have some control over transfers, that this doesn't spiral completely out of control. control. But I don't anticipate it being a huge issue for these current players. Everyone's making sure they're checking with their compliance offices, they're consulting lawyers to make sure that there's they're airtight on this one. But I think as of now, players should be okay at least for this 2-week period.
Who are some players that have been sitting out to keep an eye on that are, I guess, now are eligible for these 14 days? And what are some teams that have some of these guys sitting out that could immediately benefit from guys getting back active?
West Virginia is the obvious one with Battle, but also Noah Farrakhan. So 2 players for them that get eligible, 2 guys to help their backcourt, and then a third in Kirk Risa, who's been sitting out suspended. His suspension time's up to end here this weekend anyway. So they basically get a whole new backcourt, which could help a team that has really struggled early on. Florida State, Primo Spears, the Georgetown transfer, and then Ole Miss is a huge one with Brandon Murray. A huge boost to that team. They've obviously started strong, a lot of excitement, but I think there was always a feeling around that program that they need Murray to hit their ceiling, and now potentially having him for the year is big news.
And got big news here yesterday with the addition, more reinforcements for the Memphis Tigers, and it kicked off earlier in the week, even before yesterday's news. Kevin, we were talking about rosters and who's got the best roster in the country, and where would Memphis rank on rosters? Who do you think has the best roster in college basketball? And now with the addition, where do you think Memphis lands on roster composition?
It's a tough question. I think probably the best roster is at Arizona right now, just in terms of raw talent and athleticism.
And how deep is
it? Pretty deep. I mean, they have some international talent on their bench that isn't playing a ton right now, but has professional future. I think the Memphis case would certainly be for deepest roster. I don't think necessarily the top end talent quite the same, although the way that David Jones has played obviously stands out. And Tomlin is a huge addition. His ability to defend is something that they will really value. And I don't think he'll be quite the passer that DeAndre Williams was, but in a lot of ways, I was talking to a coach who coached against Tomlin. He really felt like this is just replacing DeAndre Williams in the grand Memphis plan. I know the comparison, a lot of the talk has been about Jordan Brown and his kind of looming status, but and the one coach I spoke to said he felt like it was more the DeAndre Williams replacement in terms of the defensive versatility, the skill level, all of that. I mean, Williams is a terrific passer. I'm not sure Tomlin is that, but he is a very, very unique player, and it will really help the Tigers.
Well, before the Tigers picked up Naquan Tomlin, they got a massive win on the road in College Station. And here locally, there were some people that were a little concerned after the VCU game. I think tough environment to go into and play. But some people were a little concerned after that performance. But a great win on the road against Texas A&M. What were some of your takeaways from the Tigers going on the road and beating Texas A&M?
Yeah, just a monster performance from Quinterly and Jones. And really the last 2 games for Quinterly, I think, are the biggest step forward for this Memphis team. His consistency has always been a problem. I mean, look at the Alabama games. There were some high highs, but some low lows in his I believe, 3 years with the Tide. I just think, to get elite point guard play out of him like they did last weekend, and like they're going to need against teams like A&M that want to pressure you and disrupt you. I mean, he played like one of the better guards in college basketball. If they get good point guard play from him, they have Jones scoring on the wing. Now you're going to add Tomlin to the mix defensively up front. You've got athleticism and shooting with guys like Walton and Mills. I mean, this team starts to look very dangerous weapons-wise when Quinterly plays as well as he did over the weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned the C word with him, consistency, and a lot at Alabama and even some at Villanova. That was very young in his career. We're talking about it with him, and I did not think before these last 2 games that he had been great. He'd been good in some, but not consistent. He had the ebbs and flows, and that's part of the acclimation period that we're in this portion of the season as well, and with all the changes they've had. But this marketplace, this fan base here, we saw point guard play last year at a peak college level. If he can get it anywhere near the consistent level of Kendrick Davis, then the Tigers are sitting on a powder keg.
100%. And I don't think he will, because that's not who Javon Quinterly has been. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, the level, like he brings them to a different level when he's playing at a high level. And I think the confidence that he gains from playing like that on the road against two teams that want to disrupt you a little bit defensively, I think that's huge heading, closer to conference play and heading into a couple of huge tests before that with obviously Clemson and Virginia, two games that, look, I mean, we've heard a lot from Penny about wanting more respect and feeling like they've been, they've been wronged by the voters, wronged by, seeding in the NCAA tournament in the past. I mean, you win those two games, you're going to walk into Selection Sunday feeling really good about where you stand. I don't know exactly what it'll look like seed-wise, but I mean, if they want to silence some doubters and prove themselves to be one of the higher-level teams in the sport, win those two games, and I think people are going to be talking about Memphis not just as a top 25 team, but as a top 15 team.
Well, for this Clemson team that the Tigers will see on Saturday, what should Memphis fans expect? What kind of style do they run, and what kind of game will it be on Saturday?
They are highly, highly skilled. I mean, P.J. Hall up front is playing as well as anyone in the country, but as a big guy who can really space the floor, causes a lot of problems for people offensively. Combine that with Chase Hunter and Joe Girard, two high-level shooters in the backcourt. They can shoot the cover off of the ball and really cause problems for you. But they're also tough. Like, I think last year defensively, they just didn't quite have the teeth. And I think the growth of some of the younger players in their program, like Ian Shefflin, RJ Godfrey, like they're a little bit more athletic. They're much tougher on the glass. I mean, they have been really good on the boards. When you out-rebound TCU, you out-rebound a Jamie Dixon team like they did over the weekend, that means something. And they've just done a tremendous job in that regard this year. So that's a tough test. I don't know that I quite buy the whole, there's been a lot of like Clemson might win the ACC talk. I'm not quite there, but I think they're really good, and it'll be a great test for Memphis.
Is this the best team the Memphis Tigers have faced this year?
Whew. Yeah, I think so. I think if nothing else, they're playing the best. I think teams like Villanova and Arkansas have more talent. Maybe by the end of the year we'll look at them as better, but I think right now, I mean, the level that Clemson is at, I mean, they are playing like a legit top 20 team in the sport. I mean, their togetherness, their shooting ability, this will be quite the test.
And it matters for the Memphis Tigers. How will we be looking at Michigan at the end of the year, Kevin?
I mean, no. Speaking of uncertainty, I mean, we'll always talk about on this chat, but I mean, they are.
We're close to a disaster, aren't we?
Yeah. The Juwan Howard situation is bumpy. Currently undergoing a human resources review after an incident with the strength coach, a beloved guy around there, John Sanderson. Look, I think that incident alone won't cause a midseason coaching change or anything like that. But this team's very fragile right now. I think the losses that they've taken here lately, they've lost 5 of their last 7. That has really taken a lot of wind out of their sails, and I think the culture of the program right now is just on kind of shaky ground. I mean, the root of this situation was reportedly Jace Howard, Juwan's son, yelling at a trainer, not just yelling, berating a trainer. Sanderson, the strength coach, coming over and trying to stop that, and then making a comment about the program culture to Juwan, Jace's father, and the head coach. I mean, that is not a good sign for all being well and
Then it's on, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a really bad situation. So can they right the ship? I think they have the talent to do so, but I wouldn't bet on it right now. And that will hurt Memphis, right? Memphis, especially with the conference schedule not being as strong, they need some of these non-conference wins to age well. And so far, Michigan doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, and even real early, and I know every year Eric Mossman kind of tears his team down and builds it up, but Memphis can't afford on Selection Sunday or that weekend when they're in that committee room and Arkansas and Michigan have disintegrated.
Yeah.
I believe Arkansas will find a way because Muss will either find a way or he'll die trying. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, man, like I'm
scared of that, too, because, man, it's all in for him.
Sure
and
is.
Kevin, he came to the Arkansas Ole Miss football game, tailgated in the Grove, made his way through the Grove, had a blast. He and Danielle, just a fantastic couple. And I was visiting with him at our tailgate spot, And I told him that I covered his dad at South Alabama in the NCAA tournament and remembered his dad back in the ABA days. And I told him, I said, take care of yourself, because his dad was around his age now when he fell over dead from just being wound too tight.
It is scary, and I'm sure he is in wonderful physical condition. It's funny. It's kind of legendary amongst the national media of getting a message from Musk while he's on the treadmill. I mean, that guy, he listens to every radio show, every podcast, knows what everybody's saying about his team, is going to do whatever it takes to fix it. But he at least seems like he's keeping in shape while he does so. Hopefully he doesn't drop dead from this team. But they have certainly tested him so far.
Back to Juwan Howard, I either saw this on Twitter or heard it in a podcast either today or yesterday, but obviously Juwan Howard had open heart surgery. He's still trying to make his way back to coaching full-time. Phil Martelli has been doing most of the coaching with Juwan kind of sitting on the bench, but I did not realize, and I heard this or saw this somewhere, that he has not talked to the local media since last March, hasn't even done a press conference or anything. That is shocking to me that a head coach at a place like Michigan has not, and even with him sitting on the bench now, has not addressed the media at all.
Yeah, it's been just a really strange situation. And again, part of it you can attribute to the situation with his heart, and obviously we're hoping for the best for him health-wise.
Absolutely.
But I think he has really shut himself in since last year's disappointment. I mean, for that team to have 2 top 15 picks in the draft and to have Hunter Dickinson not make the NCAA tournament, and really for the first time, Juwan to hear a lot of criticism, both in his backyard and nationally. I think he has really shut himself down a little bit to the outside world, and that's a dangerous spot to be. It can either work when you're kind of back against the wall, or it can make things even more toxic. And right now it doesn't feel the whole situation does not feel long-term tenable. There's going to have to be something that changes, whether it's his personality and some of the things he has to do to rebuild trust with the fan base and the program, whether it's whether it's players coming in and out. Like, something has to change, because right now, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a mid-season deal, but I just find it increasingly unlikely that he's going to be able to reset this thing and start over next year. It feels as though this may be the last year of the Juwan Howard era at Michigan.
Wow.
Breaking into the poll, ranked 25th, your alma mater.
That's right.
Northwestern, 25th.
The Wildcats, yes, they've been really good, consistent. Have built on last year's NCAA tournament run, and having the Purdue win in their pocket really means quite a bit. So I think they're in good shape. The Big Ten has not had a great non-conference that Northwestern has so far. They've taken care of business where they've needed to. So there's upward mobility, and it's funny. We've talked about Chris Collins being on the hot seat entering last year, really for the last couple of years. All of a sudden, he makes the tournament again, and Michigan's open, and Louisville's open, and I guarantee that name's going to come up. This guy with his pedigree and the success he's having at a program that hasn't done it before, it would be quite the turn of events, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Kevin, just how hard is the Northwestern job?
I think it's not as hard now as it was when he got the job. I think the facilities improvements, the Big Ten, the academics are not easy, but it's not Stanford. I mean, you can get kids in. Stanford is so tight. I mean, Northwestern gets kids in. You can't get everyone in. There's limitations with the portal outside of, you can recruit a lot of kids who've been in school for 1 year and grad transfers. Guys in the middle there are tough to get in, but I think it's a place where you can make the NCAA tournament. I think what he is doing now is what the standard, I think, should be in the good years, is make the NCAA tournament, get some big wins. It's not going to be an every year thing, but I think you can win there. I think it's a place where the improvements, facilities-wise, the just general the commitment school-wise to being good at sports, I think has permeated down and gives you a chance to really have success.
Is it harder than any SEC job, though?
I would have a long debate with someone about Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's probably a slightly better job, but very, very tricky.
Certainly was historically, but it's gotten more difficult.
Yes, I think Vandy's harder now because of recruiting. I think the SEC is such a different beast in basketball recruiting than the Big Ten. Big Ten a little bit more high school driven, a little bit more player development driven. I think the style you have to win at Northwestern a little bit more tenable in the Big Ten than Vanderbilt in the SEC.
Last thing for you, Kevin. I'll be honest, I do not get Pac-12 Network, so I was not able to watch, and I'm counting down the days till the Pac-12. I don't have to worry about Pac-12 Network anymore. But were you able to catch any of Bronny's debut on Sunday for USC?
Yeah, I did watch. I actually thought he played pretty well. Played within himself, played really hard defensively.
Yeah.
He's not going to light the world on fire offensively, but he can make a shot, he can attack. If people are
no pressure, right?
Yeah, right. If people can be realistic with him and not
we can't though.
That's tough.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm asking for an impossible task. But if everyone can just treat him like any other 4/5-star recruit, which is be a good rotation player as a freshman, maybe either get drafted or then move in and be a big time player as a sophomore, he'll have a great career and everybody will be happy. But absolutely. I think the first time that he averages, when people look up in a month and he's averaging 5.7 points per game, everybody's going to be freaking out.
Yeah, well, and certainly being able to play 17 minutes, and I know they went to overtime, but playing 17 minutes in your first game after what happened to him before the season is definitely good to see. But
it was a big win.
It certainly was. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Wednesday.
Thanks, fellas. Catch you later.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great week. Kevin Sweeney with us from College Basketball Central and from Sports Illustrated. On Friday, we're going to be at Sissy's Log Cabin. It's a new location in Laurelwood, and we got a lot to give away on Friday. We want everybody to come by starting at 3 o'clock and register to win. We'll call you. We'll email you. We'll get a hold of you. And there's going to be a lot to give away, a lot of tickets, and the grand prize, the tickets. Feet on the Wood for Wednesday night, January the 3rd, against Toronto. I had to double-check that date. Wednesday night, January 3rd, against Toronto. Right after the new year. We'll give those away around 5:25 on Friday at Sissy's Log Cabin. Huge supporters of Tigers Athletics, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, sponsor of our look back all season long at the weekend in the SEC. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings. You need to come by and see us Friday. You need to come by and have somebody on that shopping list taken care of in fine style at Sissy's Log Cabin. Since 1970, with 6 great locations across the Mid-South, official jeweler for the Grizzlies and FedEx Forum with the lounge and the great floor seats, unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry. And, Bryant, this weekend is the father-son or the family event. I think Annika Sorenstam plays with a grandson in the event this weekend. It'll be Chuck Woods playing with his dad, Tiger Woods.
That's right.
It'll be John Daly Jr. that you know,
Little John
that you know well, playing with JD. And we saw it this year in college football with Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Everybody go a little bit lighter on Arch Manning, Chuck Woods, and Bronny James.
Well, and
that's big to follow.
It's huge, and it's so hard for those kids and those players because it is so hard for anybody to reach the level of Tiger Woods
like impossible.
Or LeBron James or any of the Mannings. And the fact that we are placing all of this pressure and all of this, you're going to be the next great thing at, I was going to say 18 years old, but it really starts at 14, 15, 16 years old when these guys are in high school.
Well, it starts really when you start developing friends in kindergarten. First, are they my friends or they want to get close because of my last name?
Right.
Do they really like me or do they want to, do they want something from dad or granddad or uncle or whoever it is? And I mean, just to have a normal disposition in life for them. I remember hearing the story of Mickey Mantle Jr. Mantle Jr., dad,
sure.
You know who he was. And he's at Little League baseball practice, and he can hear the dads standing over on the fence, kind of being, the unofficial assistant coaches. And you heard one of them go, "Boy, if I was Mickey, I'd be ashamed if that was mine."
Oh, man.
He's 11 years old and hearing that.
Jeez. I mean, and you're right. It starts very young, and it's something that you have to deal with not only with your athletic endeavors, but with your
Everything.
entire life, everything.
All your behavior, especially, now
man,
that everything. I mean, if any of those three, Chuck Woods or Charlie Woods, I don't know him as Chuck, but I like calling him Chuck Woods. If they did anything, if Arch Manning, was doing a shot at a bar in Austin, it's going to be captured.
It's going to be front page TMZ. It's going to be all over social media. I mean, it's going to be the most trending story of the day, and that's for any of these guys and really anything they do. I mean, I remember when Arch Manning, it was like his first or second week on campus, and
he lost his ID.
He lost his ID, and that was trending for like a whole week. And I was like, me and all my buddies lost our IDs 4 times before we got done.
He had trouble keeping up with that ID early,
well,
didn't he?
that did raise a couple concerns. I mean, he did fumble that ID a handful of times, but no, it's a lot of expectations. And going back to the fact that he was able to play 17 points after cardiac arrest, Bronny James was able to. That's a win in anybody's books.
Great story. Even though they lost on Sunday to Long Beach State, they won.
That's certainly a win for him. Before we get to a break, I got to tell you about Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. They've got Western wear, but they've also got all sorts of boots, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots, boots for every single occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. And from head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable, like Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean, whether for men or women. You can get all your clothing from their jeans, shirts, pants, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or to their website, hewlettdunn.com. And they've got a bunch of accessories in there as well, like hats, sunglasses, boot care products, and every area team snapback or cool hat you can think of, whether it's the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks. And for travel, their bag selection is top notch. hewlettdunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, give them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville. That's Hewlett and Dunn. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you have equipment taking up space in your shed or on your lot? What do you do if those pieces are really big? Ever wondered their value? Purple Wave Auction is an online auction company that sells used equipment. Thousands of items are up for bid right now at purplewave.com. Our transparent auction process makes it easy to sell that Kenworth semi you have sitting behind the barn. Or how about an upgrade to your New Holland Workmaster? Take a moment and check out purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction, straight, simple, sold.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, but you got to come home with me.
Welcome back into Sports Times. We've got about 30 minutes left in today's show. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studio, and a lot to get to during What's Trending. But Brett, I want to start off, since we were just talking college basketball with Kevin Sweeney, I want to talk about this story that's coming out of Louisville over the last couple of hours. There was a statement from the athletic department that was sent out to their media, a statement from the program, quote, University of Louisville junior guard Karan Davis has informed the program that he intends to transfer. We support him and wish him well in the future. All right, perfect. Sounds good. Guy's upset midseason, wants to transfer. After that was posted and it started circulating on social media that he was transferring, he was in the portal, Karan Davis went to social media and tweeted, I didn't express to anyone at U of Louisville that I wanted to transfer. I never asked to transfer. I enjoy being a Cardinal. The fact an official statement was released giving false information is disheartening and sad. Brett, add another chapter to the Kenny Payne saga at Louisville. That is unbelievable.
The dysfunction at U of L is hard to believe, but yet very, very fun to see.
It is fun to see. It is interesting. It's, look, there's a lot of things I've heard out of this Louisville couple seasons with Kenny Payne. I thought the best was a couple weeks ago when Kenny Payne very openly to the media was talking about Tylor Johnson and him not wanting to play in the first half because they didn't have the tights that they've never had for him to wear, and he was upset about that, but then decided at halftime to play, and he played well in the second half. I thought that was going to be the craziest thing. But sending out an official statement that a player that has no intentions or wants to transfer is going to transfer, that might top that.
Everything's under examination right now at Louisville, and they're not going to stand for this. They're going to they will get it right. They will hire a big time coach, and it could be somebody from around here. I mean, I think they'll make a big run at Chris Beard, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. And with what Chris Beard has done, and this news about the 2-time transfer,
could make a run at Chris Jans.
Really could. I mean, those are 2 prime suspects, I think.
Could make a run at Eric Musselman.
Could. I mean, Louisville historically is a powerhouse of a program, and so they have their eyes set on the top and some of the top coaches. And I think what Chris Jans has done, what Chris Beard has done in his career, and now with an undefeated start to the season, one of very few undefeated. And I saw Brett yesterday. I don't know what the tweet, I forgot who tweeted it out, and I forgot what they were looking at. They were looking at KenPom, or if they were looking at the ESPN percentage thing that we always see of when the next projected loss for all of the top 25 teams are, or excuse me, all the teams that are undefeated are, when their first loss would come. And Ole Miss's wasn't till early January when they played Tennessee, I think, on the road. So
opening SEC game. It won't be easy Saturday in San Antonio for Ole Miss against Mad Dog Madsen and Cal.
No, it won't.
Cal's got some really good pieces.
They do have some pieces. They've had trouble putting them together, but Keontae Kennedy, who transferred from Memphis over there, Fardaz Amack, who was a massive, I mean, the top transfer a couple of seasons ago, is now over at Cal. So, I mean, they have some really, really good players. And now, Brett, I didn't even think about Cal, but this 2-time transfer, they have a couple of really good players that have been sitting out.
Lined up ready to go.
That. Yeah, so no, that's going to be a really tough test for Ole Miss. But, I mean, what he's done.
And Louisville's thinking, they're thinking what we're talking about. It's not going to work with Kenny Payne. Mm-hmm. At some point, cut your losses, whatever. And when they hire the next coach, we got to hire not only a guy that can do it kind of now, but we want the guy to seize this opportunity of post-Cal at UK.
Yes. No, you absolutely have to. And it's a really
when
good
he
point.
goes, we want our new guy rolling where we can feel that vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, because, I mean, I think the first thing you want is a coach that can bring some stability to the program.
Now.
But you've got to look at the future, and with
Stop
how heated that rivalry is, you're going to want to look at somebody. Yeah, Kentucky might be dominating the state right now, but right when Cal, we want somebody that's going to be able to steamroll through that and put Louisville back on the map as kind of the powerhouse school of Kentucky.
Yeah, and I'm always scared of that kind of that big recruiter image.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny Payne, he was a good recruiter, but we know what did most of the recruiting at Kentucky.
Yeah.
John Calipari.
Yes, absolutely. But Kenny Payne, this 2 years, I memean, look, it was a bad season last year, but I was all for it. Give him a second chance, let him actually get a full recruiting cycle in, because, Brett, he has been a really good recruiter in the past. And so, give him some time. Let's see how this plays out next season. And, Brett, we're not even into conference slate yet, and it is a absolute nightmare at Louisville.
It is, and going to get worse.
No, it is certainly going to get worse. Brett, the NBA with the Grizzlies playing tonight. It's interesting. A lot of people talking about the NBA because of what happened last night. What did you make of what really the whole country's been talking about today? The Draymond Green saga in that marquee game, TNT game last night.
He's a reckless player.
Mm-hmm.
It goes with it. One of the shocking things, you watch that replay, watch it closely, and watch the Golden State coaches, everybody in the fleeces, everybody kind of in uniform, the coaches and assistant coaches, including Steve Kerr. They didn't bat an eye.
Mm-mm.
They weren't surprised by it.
Mm-mm.
They didn't rush to maybe hold back the rest of the team, or if an incident brewing.
Right.
They know a lot goes with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I know a lot of people, kind of sick and tired of it before this happened, and this just adds to it. But now, it seems like everybody is waiting to see if what the announcement is from the league. Last time,
I thought we'd have something by now.
I thought we would too. I think after that, the chokehold against Minnesota, I think it was around this time, maybe even earlier the next day. So I am interested. I'm sure a lot, conversations going on after getting that first suspension after that chokehold. And I can't remember, was it 5 or 6 games? It was right around that 5-6 games that he was suspended for. So I'm sure there's a lot of conversation. We just handed down 6 games to him last time. What do we give him now after, it happening so close together?
DeMichael Cole with the Commercial Appeal on the Grizzlies beat, tweeting and reporting that Desmond Bain probably out tonight per Taylor Jenkins developed some cold symptoms that the Grizzlies are hoping won't bother him much longer.
Ooh, and that's a huge loss, Brett. We were talking.
Hope he doesn't have what I've had, and hope he didn't get it from Jordan Brown. You don't think Jordan Brown infected Desmond Bain, do you? At FedEx Forum.
Well, Brett, I know different locker rooms, but maybe touching the same balls and stuff. I don't know. Maybe the same.
And
walls,
reportedly, Coach Hardaway talking today that Jordan Brown still ill. That man needs to get to a doctor.
Brett, I saw those reports and was really surprised to hear still illness because, Brett, I understand, there can be illnesses that last this long, but, I feel like we would know more information. If it was just cut and dry, he's sick, we would know more information.
Now, I know we can't get any real details because of HIPAA and all that, but, we're crying out. I hope somebody's got him to a physician.
And I'm not looking for a, doctor's note of diagnosis and how long he's in, but
I don't need to see an X-ray.
But most coaches, when there is an illness or something, like we just got from Taylor Jenkins, cold-like symptoms, hopefully he's back in a couple of days. This whole time with Penny Hardaway, it's been illness. We don't know.
Really, with us, we still just want somewhere where we can send to get well card.
We're still looking, Brett. We got Johnny working day and night. He was telling me
we all have.
We
work feverishly.
Brett, Johnny's like you. He doesn't drink coffee, and he was telling me
Good
the past
for you,
couple
Johnny.
of breaks that he's thinking about drinking coffee, Brett, that has gone cold because the coffee maker's been turned off all afternoon.
Hey, man.
He's wanting to drink coffee because of how much he's working trying to find an address
for
to send
stay
Jordan
up.
Brown to
Yeah,
go
man.
card.
I've been working tirelessly. Look at if the
we
viewers
all
can
have
see
been.
me.
Thank you.
Tired.
Yeah.
TYFYS, thank you for your service.
We all have.
We really
Johnny, I'm with you. I've never had a drop of coffee in my life.
Hey, I was tempted for a minute, Brian.
I've never been tempted.
That's
I like to smell it brewing, and that's it. Past that,
like
no
that,
thanks.
A little scent. But no, Desmond Bain, if he is out tonight, it's a huge loss. You go back to that last game against the Mavericks.
And we want to send him a card, too,
well,
if it lingers.
Of course. If it lingered. And please, no. Please do not let that linger with Desmond Bain. But, Brett, we talked after that last game for the Grizzlies. It really was Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr.
That's it.
And that was really it. Vince Williams gave you a little something off the bench, but that was all. And so
Vince Williams did play hard.
He played really well.
He sure did.
And so Desmond Bain has been kind of that consistent guy in this rotation all season long. And so that
watch
really
that
hurts.
effort tonight for the Grizzlies.
You really
These
do.
last two were poor.
And especially if Desmond Bain's not out there, definitely something to keep an eye on. But let's go ahead, get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Ping G430 drivers, which combine the ultimate combination of distance and forgiveness. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress boots. boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
You ready to end the year with some money in your pocket? We got it covered at Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. Get to the Pike for the award-winning 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. 420 total range MPGE, $299 a month. Get ready for your road trip in the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Buy for $27,000 or just $399 a month. And cool has never been cooler than in a 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $30,700 or $499 a month. And no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike. Gift wrapping available. You want it, we Gossett. Shop online anytime at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZO 62303 MSRP 44,355 Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000 Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting parlay bets together, hammering the overs, and anytime player touchdown bets always have me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. It expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Give the gift of movies with Malco Theater gift cards. Why watch movies on TV at home when you can experience movies in the theater? Give the gift of memories this holiday season with gift cards from Malco Theaters. Shop online at malco.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is where all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Major League Baseball, we've got something new for spring training, spring breakout. It's going to be games for minor league, Major League prospects in the minor league system. The top prospects for every organization is going to play, I believe, one game against another team's top prospects, and it's going to be basically a showcase game for these teams. They're going to be played at the spring training facilities March 14th through 17th, and it's just going to be an opportunity to show off some of the great young prospects in these organizations. Hey, more baseball, I'm always in favor for.
How hard one. How quickly do you think Major League Baseball will adopt an in-season tournament a la NBA?
Wow. Well, with this commissioner, no telling. I mean,
Could be on the fly for next year.
Brett,
It worked for them. Let's try it.
Brett, we could be at an All-Star break this next season. He goes, let's throw an in-season tournament in here. Why
Heck
not?
with the August schedule.
Exactly.
Sure could. What I learned today, Rocket Sanders going to South Carolina, unless it's for big money. Exactly why. It feels very lateral to me. I mean, what's the difference in going to South Carolina or staying at Arkansas unless it's for big money?
Yeah.
You're talking, one team might finish 13th next year in the SEC and the other one 14th. Maybe the definition of lateral move. I thought it was pretty gutless effort all year this year for Rocket Sanders to try to get back on the field at Arkansas, and now he's on the way out of town. Chris Paul left Arkansas for Ole Miss. Now this. Does anyone really think Sam Pittman's going to get it right next year?
No. Unfortunately, no. And I was shocked. I mean, when I saw that Rocket Sanders was transferring to South Carolina, it blew my mind. But, Brett, here we are. I guess we're here. What I could have done without Brett, I mean, I know we've already talked about it, and I know we both like to use this segment to talk about new things that we didn't have a chance to talk about today. But, Brett, I cannot stop thinking about this situation going on at Louisville today. I mean, the fact that we had an official release sent out to members of the media from the Louisville men's basketball, an update, official statement. I'll read it again. Statement from the program. University of Louisville junior guard Karan Davis has informed the program that he intends to transfer. We support him and wish him well in the future. A couple hours after that happened, not even a couple hours after that happened, Karan Davis goes social media.
Don't wish me well, I'm staying.
I didn't express to anyone at Louisville I wanted to transfer. I never asked to transfer. I enjoy being a Cardinal. And the fact that the official statement was released giving false information is disheartening and sad. It sure is. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's one thing to lose a bunch of games. It's one thing to have freshmen acting like freshmen. But for an athletic department, for a staff, for a group of people that are supposed to be in charge of a team to send out a statement saying a player came to them and asked to transfer, and that seemingly is not true, is unbelievable at a high major program like Louisville.
I could have done without this from a high major program in the NBA. Who could really expect the Lakers to be up last night, to be primed, to really hit, to be hitting on all cylinders, not with all the emotion of the biggest moment arguably in franchise history, when they won the in-season tournament. They're still celebrating that, and then being asked to get back out there and play on some sleepy regular season game on a Tuesday night in Dallas. Just too much pressure on the Lakers. I don't criticize them, please.
That's right. Well, and now I'm seeing on ESPN Sports Center that both LeBron James and Anthony Davis questionable tonight in their back-to-back.
Of course, I mean they're tired.
So, well, I mean they just won a championship, Brad. I mean, got to give them some time off. They took last night off, and then they're literally going to take tonight off. So.
They need till the Christmas Day games off.
Well, that's a great point, Brett, and that's a really great idea. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Milwaukee for Indiana. The Pacers at Milwaukee.
That'll be a good
Indiana's on the way. They are, and they got plenty of hope against Milwaukee. Milwaukee currently 3 seed in the East. That 1, 2, 3 in the East is going to be a blast to watch all the way to April.
It sure will be. I'm certainly going to beam to this Grizzlies game tonight, but also beam me to the McNeese State game tonight, or McNeese. We're still confused on if they're McNeese or McNeese State.
The return.
The return of Will Wade. It is unbelievable, the content that has been coming out from Will Wade and the McNeese staff and team. Videos of him riding a horse and going into a saloon that's full with his players. I mean, it's unbelievable. Willie the Kid returns tonight for a McNeese team that has really been impressive. They also, I mentioned this earlier, they have a handful of players that are on that second-year transfer. That's going to be something to keep an eye on starting tonight and into the weekend in college basketball. How many of these guys are out there, and how many of these guys are difference makers?
9 NBA games tonight. Lakers at Spurs with a lot of opt-outs tonight for the Lakers. The Spurs losers of 17 straight.
Wow.
Boy, that would quickly extinguish the glow of winning the in-season tournament if the Lakers suffered that ignominious loss tonight, wouldn't it?
Yes, no, that would not be good. I don't think anybody. And now with the your 2 stars out, I guess it's
well, you just can't get up every night like it's the in-season tournament.
No. I mean, that's a great point by you, Brett. I was looking earlier, Brett, before we get out of here. Spurs and Pistons meet January 10th.
Throw the record books out. We will beam there simultaneously.
Brett, could we get to neither of them winning a game before January 10th?
I don't wish that on them.
But it would be glorious if we could
Kinda
beam to 2 teams that haven't won in forever. Oh, that'd be unbelievable. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy this Grizzlies game tonight, even though it's on the road. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.